Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Keep it 100.
So chase greatness and start understanding that he's going to make everybody better.
Tape never lies.
I don't want to see your tape breakdowns if you cannot show me things that are negative about a guy that's on your current team.
Hashtag chase greatness. Hashtag take that.
Keep it 100.
Because I'll make this one more time clear. Caden Whitlow, cut it.
Keeping it 100.
He is the best quarterback I have ever scouted on tape.
The Chicago Bears select.
Guess who's back? The two dudes that kept it real. Dynamic duo that you love, the smartest man at Dr. Phil. Breaking down the film, never a problem, kick it straight. Most shows focus on stats, we focus on the tape. We keep it in 100, never running east or west. We coming with that truth, cause that's what our fans expect. Cut off the fake and anchor, moving forward to be free. But don't you worry, Shane's got the dumbest tweets. It ain't no secret, Phil and Shane got some haters. But now the mouth stuck like the Jew and now and laters. Debaters, frauds get kicked like Coach Tabor. Cuts had to be made, we added a barber moderator. Up and down, boys got you double checking. Sad sack strolling like a fool drunk texting. Flexing on the truth cause you know they'll never change. Real, recognize real, that's what you get with Phil and Shane.
Give me some fucking names. Wait, 2 fucking games?
Fuck a play or a captain, all of the unfair. The tape never lies, the truth you see. We laugh, we analyze, so there's no babies like Maybelline. Straight to the truth with acumen and facts. We got a stat nerd, but he's not just giving nerd stats. Car crash, big impact like trip stat. Every Wednesday night you got the smartest man Phil back. Now we know you're smiling like a fat kid with fun dip. We're back better than ever and we're keeping it 100.
Keep it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest
Keeping it
man.
100.
Keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Keep it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo! Welcome back to Keeping It 100 on the best Bears network on the motherfucking planet. I'm back! Welcome, guys. We have a great show for you tonight. Olin Kreutz will join us to talk to the guys about the upcoming NFL draft. But, let's go ahead and jump into it. Without further ado, DDP and the smartest man, Shane Marsall. What up, boys?
Hey, here we are. Fired up, Ivan Vargas.
Yeah.
Boys.
That's the energy
I love it.
trying to get from Claudio for 6-7 years now.
A decade. A decade. That's how you should be. We're almost there. 8 days away. 8 days a week. We're almost there, man. It's been a journey, man.
It's gonna
Shane
be
got
so
me all fired up this morning. Him and one Gregory Braggs with the drift. What is it? Grifters.
Yeah.
Grifters. They've all crawled. What did Jonathan Hood say? He had one of the better lines. When the lights come on, all the roaches scatter.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Caleb Williams is bringing that light to Chicago, man, and I can't be prouder. I was away. I watched some of the show. I got to meet patron Mike V and his beautiful wife. You guys did an excellent job holding it down, as always, here at TTNL. But I'll get into all that fun stuff. Universal is just outstanding, man. That's all I could say. If you have boys, you don't go to Disney. You go to Universal. Like boys heaven. Boys heaven. I'll talk
Feels
about
like-
that later. Go ahead.
Phil says to me today, he's like, "Man, you gotta go. You gotta take Riley, bro. You gotta go to Universal." And I'm like, "You don't remember that I was the one that told you to go?" Phil, it's like, "Oh shit, that's right."
I totally forgot. Totally forgot. Yes. Bullets in the house. Uncle Bullets.
Yeah, he's
Can't even-
texted me some old news already, pre-show.
Did he?
Yeah.
Bears are taking Caleb.
Yeah. Bears might be moving up for Mitch Trubisky.
Lawrence Chrisman knows. 8
Can't wait.
fucking days, people. Yes, this is
Yeah,
an
man.
adult show. An adult show.
Yeah. Do we want to give a rundown before our guest gets here? What our plans are? It's going to be a little bit
Oh my
different.
God. It's going to be a crazy week next week. TTNL heads. I know Mike Haw is breaking down film on his channel, apparently.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, we broke down Fatanu last night, Mike.
So,
It's like in the chat, what the fuck are you guys talking about? See everything.
chase greatness, motherfucker. Yes. Chasing greatness. Next week, obviously, TTNL draft coverage is going to be on fire. We're securing and scheduling guests for draft night and the draft week. I know Jonathan Hood, David Kaplan, Adam Rank. Courtney's going to jump on, I think, after the draft. I got to remember Courtney. Sorry. Matt Waldman jumping on. Day 2, he'll come on and look
It
back.
might even be a surprise night one. I've been trying to.
Couple surprises are a good thing.
We'll see.
Right, Frank?
We'll see.
Give
me
us
some
some
fucking names.
Tonight we got one of the best names.
Oh,
This
yeah.
was the guy I wanted to be president over Kevin Warren. Olin Kreutz.
Yeah. You would have dropped some fucking hammers.
Just
That's
like
what
you
they-
dropped Adam Hogue.
That's what they need up there.
He needs a
No, but
escort Ted Phillips the fuck.
I'm not going there off fucking Jump Street, but
No.
just real quick, next week, I know we're not doing the patron mock this year. We decided to go in a different direction with it. It's a monster to maintain and then
Coordinate, Shane.
yeah,
That's
to coordinate.
Coordinate.
And then you get it all set up.
Collaborate.
People are like, "Oh, well, my wife ran out of Wheaties, and I gotta
Oh.
run down to,
My
shop a
headphones
lot."
died.
Yeah, my
Let me take
goldfish-
Quiddy Pay at
my
4.
goldfish. Just like I'm trading up Quiddy Pay, baby.
Wouldn't pay all the way.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna change the whole motherfucking draft and take.
Who's that punter from Iowa? He's looking pretty good at number 3.
I'm gonna take quarterback from Tulane. Y'all don't know.
I'll never forget that. I had to follow up Bullets. I was the next pick after Bullets, I believe.
Yeah,
Or so it was something to that effect. I think it was either next pick or right after or shortly after, but that shocked me. It was the balls on Bullets.
The balls on bullets. Sounds like a street in LA. Balls on bullets.
but so Monday night will be the debut.
The debut of the Bear Down with Big Steve Edwards,
Yeah,
former Chicago Bear. Monday night.
might be a busy night for us, Phil, because we're going to be doing that, and then I think you and I are going to go live with.
We're doing a live crossover show. It'll be my first appearance ever.
Yeah, CHGO after dark. Corey
CHGO
Wooten.
with Corey Wooten and Gregory Braggs. That would bring up Jim Larison's drop.
Can't miss.
Oh my God, Greg, droning on and on. Shut the fuck up, dude.
We're gonna straighten Woot out on his defensive tackle.
Oh my God, Corey. Corey.
But
Corey.
Then Tuesday night we'll officially kick off our TTNL Network draft coverage when
That's fight night, right?
that's the night that Phil gets bloodied up and I take home
We
the
need to
belt.
take a look back at the last few years where I've dominated.
I fucked myself last year because
Yes.
I
You
said-
do that quite often.
lately, yeah, 100%. But I said I'm gonna fuck with my boy over here and I'm gonna take his quarterback. So I surprised him and I took Bryce Young.
Yeah,
guy that
and
I
guess
don't
who
believe
gets
in at
to
all.
pick first this
And then
year.
Phil took CJ Stroud, and so he definitely won the quarterback debate 100%.
I'm gonna win it again this year because if I'm getting the first pick, I'm taking because we rotate every year, Ivan.
Right.
Did I go first
Last
last
year,
I don't even
yeah.
remember. I
How do you
don't
think you got Bryce?
No, we didn't. We never.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I don't know. Maybe
Because that's how we were going to switch it up this year. We had to go quarter. The first two
What's
picks
up,
had to be
Justin?
quarterbacks.
Oh boy, we have to go back to the tape. It never lies.
I
Terry Franklin, right? Why are you talking to bullets? These side chats going on. It's like.
And Wednesday night we'll be keeping it 100, but it'll be the infamous Matthew Parsons. His return in the official Cars mock draft. Not what Cars wants, but what Cars thinks the Bears will do. And he's got a pretty
on
good track
point.
record. He has really been on point.
It's been on point. Just
I kind of
that'll
know
be the last fucking mock draft this year.
Yeah, just because you fucking do 10,000 of them doesn't mean you know anything, right, Phil? We did a song.
Oh my god. Yes, let me do 10,000 mocks, and after the draft, I could pull out the 2 mocks that I got too.
Are you off Thursday? Next Thursday?
Yeah, and I took off Friday.
All right, so I'm off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So
I'm off those days too.
So
Except
perfect.
Monday,
so
I'm not.
Maybe if you're a TTNL Network patron, maybe we'll do a little pop up at some point Thursday during the day.
Thursday during the day.
Past the time.
Friday during the day, definitely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna do our round 2 mock because we don't have it. Well, maybe we will have the pick. We'll see.
Could have the pick.
We could.
Where's Jerry Seinfeld? It wasn't a pick. What was it like that? He's scratching the nose.
Well, let's ask our guy here, Mr. Vargas.
Vargas.
If you were a betting man and you had to bet your gut,
hi Michelle.
What is the Ivan Vargas gut telling you? Not to hit a bucket of 16-inch softballs, but who do you think? What do you think is going to happen next Thursday? What is your, not what you want to happen, but what do you think the Bears are going to do?
Okay, so obviously Caleb, but at 9, because I think that's the only question.
Yep.
If it's Joe Alt or it's Malik Neighbors for some reason or Harrison Jr., I think they go ahead and they stay there. I'm not quite sure about Roma Dunze. I know I'm not saying he's a bad player by any stretch, but I don't think that's who they would stay there at 9 for. I think you could expand your talent. You know what I'm saying? If you go ahead and get a trade in there, but if they have a Alt, a Neighbors, or Harrison Jr. there, I think they take the pick.
Yeah, I mean, I have Roma Dunze as my wide receiver 3. I think Phil, I don't think you've changed yours. You're at 2 with him.
Yes.
So I think even though I'm wide receiver 3 with him, I think I'm higher on him than Ivan is. But he
is definitely in the conversation. I totally disagree with Ivan. He's a blue chip wide receiver.
And I would tell anybody, if you can look at, they have a show on ESPN. It's called NFL Draft, the featured.
That's a pretty creative name.
Yeah. Well, they do a spot on Roma Dunze and kind of how he was brought up and the story about him and his grandfather. That is pretty fucking amazing. And I'll tell you this right now,
dude.
No matter where that kid ends up, I'm going to be a fucking fan for life watching.
Ivan's changing his mind.
No, I'm saying it's an amazing. I don't want to, ruin it for anybody, but if you can come across that and watch it, I know I put it on my, added it to my library on YouTube TV, so it's there. But it's well worth the 15 minutes to sit down and watch it. It's a pretty amazing story and how he grew up. He's I didn't realize he was such a country kid working on the farm and baling hay and doing all that shit growing up. But it's a pretty amazing story, and the
his favorite.
Great. Like I'm feeling like a piece of shit. Like I'm over here. No, I wouldn't take him at 9. And here,
Ivan also hates
this
puppies.
great
and
story.
elderly.
Yeah.
But Ivan's a mother.
Yeah, Ivan's a mother. I kick
He's
puppies.
a mother. As
Fucking
long as,
Rashawn's mom get you every time.
as long as he's a mother, not a mother.
But yeah, I'd say that. But let's dive
I gotta
right
check
into this.
that out. I gotta check that out.
Dive into this. Drew Black brought it up. Bullets texted me before
Where
the
is
show
our...
and wanted me to bring this up. Tony Pauline is a guy that I refer to a lot. He's very much locked in, and he said that if the Bears, I think the wording in his blurb is very important. He said, the pass catchers that the Bears will be choosing from are Adunze and Bowers.
This is where I come in to play.
Yeah, and I mean, I am not dismissing his talent. I just myself, I think there's a lot more at play here because everything here in New York is that New York really covets him at 10. And I'm not dismissing Brock Bowers' talent whatsoever. I think he's a legitimate. I just think if the Bears stayed at 9, I myself would be a little surprised if they took
I'm
Bowers.
in New York state of mind.
A guy that I changed my mind on was Byron Murphy.
Oh yeah.
Just watching him, watching the tape, and then watching or knowing what Eberflus likes on his defense. On top of, I don't think that the story is written on the 2 young DNs that we had last, Dexter and I always forget.
No, that's the perfect.
It's the perfect fit in that trio.
Right. That's the.
Imagine saying you can't draft Byron Murphy because you drafted Javon Dexter. No, you fucking play
Byron Murphy's in the cluster, I call it.
100%.
The cluster.
100%. And that's
remember they wanted the Hall. We have a cluster at TTNL.
Dan Weeder talked, I don't know if it was yesterday or today, and
he chased greatness, Shane.
He put it in the best terms imaginable. Pass rusher doesn't just mean an edge or an end. So you have to put Byron Murphy in that class. Pass rusher.
Byron Murphy's tape is blue chip, and we are going to break down Byron Murphy, but this Thursday, tomorrow,
9 p.m.
Speaking of Roma Dunze, we get to watch the actual coach's tape of him and Marvin Harrison Jr. We've already broken down Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors. We intend to break down Brock Bowers and Lad McConkey this weekend. There's going to be a lot of analysis over the next course. My wife, I've already told her, flag football starting Thursday, tomorrow. Then we got a show. Then all weekend, we got our first game. And TTNL is going to be breaking down tape to get you prepared for the NFL drafts. You get to see Roma Dunze and the All-22 and Marvin Harrison Jr. We've broken down 6 offensive tackles, 3 edge rushers, and quarterbacks galore. And we intend to break down Caleb Williams again. And Shane Marsaw had the great idea, like he always does. The smartest man. We are going to watch Caleb Williams versus Notre Dame, Volume 1. Volume 1, when he was surrounded by a good team. And we're going to show you why you don't just watch one game or box scores or listen to some of these dopes. Grifters, Greg. See? Shout out to you. See, I credit people, Greg. Greg doesn't. He just steals from me and Shane. And then
he was writing down lots of notes today. And he's heading into the CHGO studios, that's for sure.
Well, they had a good show with Nick Wright. I actually watched.
I did. I saw the blurb on Twitter when Nick was. It was That was a good spot.
Well, Nick, no,
I haven't been a huge fan of Nick Wright over the years, but
I really don't even know him.
Um,
I remember seeing him. He was on ESPN, right? For a
still
minute.
is, right?
Oh, he is on ESPN.
Yeah.
No, he's on FS1.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, FS1. He was
He
on ESPN.
started at ESPN, right?
Yeah. So, David, I have seen this, and no, the Bears do not. That will go to Carolina as a result of their.
Yeah.
We
The
assume
trade
they're
doesn't
draft-
trump. This isn't spades.
And talk about overrated. I last year I was very excited about having the number one spot in the waiver process, and they did almost nothing with it. I mean, they brought in
What did they do?
the Notre Dame end that got hurt that they never
They
played.
let Travis. That was one of the black eyes for me. Travis Gibson would have helped us way more than Dominic Robinson.
Imagine having him in the rotation right now.
That was a mistake.
I agree.
That's one thing I said. And you can't talk about the Bears negative. Like, this is what we do here, folks. We don't sugarcoat anything. So if you're a new listener, and there are some, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, but you're never going to hear us blow smoke and rainbows and sunshine on Bears players. We hold them accountable by and through the tape and show you why. Not talk about it, not have bullet points or highlight films. We want you to see why. And we've changed so many people's opinions. So I'm sorry if we're going to take a few thousand victory laps because we took a lot of heat. And when you're the first to stand firm and criticize a football player based on tape, even if he's well loved and such a nice young man and you want him to succeed, you have a job to do. And that's analyze the truth via the tape, not bullshit manipulation of complete. If you take the last 6 games and multiply, that shit gets you nowhere but where the Bears have always been, in the cellar at quarterback. The tape has told us the truth here. That being said, I wanted to bring it back to Brock Bowers, and this is my thought before our guest comes on. For me, Brock Bowers is in the cluster because he's a difference maker everywhere.
Yeah, you can't restrict him to tight end. I mean, you have to lead
That's
with
it.
that.
This is where I'm looking at him in the cluster. You got 2 tight ends. This is Terrell Owens. You have to look at what you're going to see on tape this weekend, if you're a patron of Brock Bowers, is a guy that has, if Cole Kmet's improved, and I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm very hard on him, and he's improved, and he got a new deal. But if he is in 7 as an athlete, like Brock Bowers is a 27, that's how far the athleticism. So now as a coach, you're looking at matchups and where you can line him up in the slot or outside with Keenan Allen in there, because he can run routes and he's twitchy at stems and he's an aggressive attacker of the football. How you creatively look at that is so important. And we here at TTNL don't look at, okay, let's put him in a box, he's a tight end. Then you got Shitty Boy Joe, Mac, your buddy Max, this guy Andre, all at the bar telling you, hey, why are they taking another tight end? I don't get it. Yeah, these Bears fucking, they don't understand. Matchups are the key. What Bowers does, even a Rome can't do what Bowers does. So if he's there and the Bears do decide to take him, just remember this moment and look at it from the perspective of matchups and what Caleb Williams' accuracy with the football with someone like that. For every game I've watched Brock Bowers, he has 4 to 5 wow plays that you can't even comprehend or see. I've never seen those done. So that's why I think he's in the cluster, and you don't just categorize and put him in that box as a tight end. He's in everything, man. George Kittle, he's a better athlete than Kittle, and Kittle was my guy. But
well, I think what it comes down to too, and I've talked about this numerous times, is
I guess I'm answering Angel. I would take him at 9. If the Bears took him at 9, I am ecstatic.
Yeah, and if you listen to Tony Pauline and people that have, he said, I have big time NFL power people talking to me about Brock Bowers that are dying of laughter. They said, do you think you're going to get this kid in the middle of the first round? He's like, there's people out there that think that they're going to get this kid there. There's no way. So I understand it. And it goes back to, I just think, Phil, you and I talked about this, and I'm not dismissing Brock Bowers at all. I'm with you, and I cannot get past the edge. There's a monstrous hole there.
Right.
There's just such a big hole. And I'm not a huge fan of Braxton Jones. I feel like I can survive with Kmet and with Everett way more than I can survive with who I have at edge across from Montez Sweat. And do I want another pillar piece on the offensive line? I do.
This is the hardest because I go back to the Holy Trinity. We'll ask Olin. You know, we never write down questions. We just go with the flow. But for me, quarterback, then pass rusher, then offensive tackle. And if you like some of the pass rushers in this draft, like I'm a big Muhammad fan, but he doesn't quantify the length card that the Bears are always talking about. Now, will they go and be an outlier there with someone like that? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But when you're getting a franchise-changing quarterback, you can't just look out. We need the receiver. And I get it because of Allen's age, but and I'm sure.
Well, I know our guess is, I'm positive he's going to
can't pass on offensive.
Can't fall in love with a wide receiver. And
yeah,
I think actually Olin texted about this a few weeks ago. You know, he goes, I find it funny that in season everybody's talking about the quarterback getting killed, and when it's time to turn the card in, everybody's like, fuck, we don't need offensive line. Got to go get that wide receiver. And he's 100% right.
That's what, because it's not,
every year.
It's not, what is it? It's not entertaining enough for them.
Yeah, it's the Madden philosophy. It's the Madden philosophy, man, and fucking fantasy football and all of that bullshit. And that's what people get intoxicated by. Listen, it is fun. My son's 13. He's pounding the table for Marvin Harrison and Roma Dunze and Malik Neighbors. I get it. It's the glitz and glamour of the position, but I want my quarterback upright. You know, protect him. He's the guy that we want to move forward with.
Move the chains. Guess what moving the chains does? It leads to scores, leads to championships. That's where, you know, this is the 9th pick is crazy big because of the talent that the quarterbacks and receivers pushing these guys. Now, we have them ranked differently. I can't wait to hear how our guest ranks these offensive linemen, and some of them, they know my number 2 offensive lineman played at his alma mater. I have Joe Alt number 3. I have Olu Fashanu number 1. How about that? But I want to see what Big O has to say. I know he's enjoying. We got him in the green.
He just
room.
texted me and he said your list is fucking terrible. He agrees more with me, but we'll talk about it.
I don't know how he's texting, polishing off the spread the filet mignon and the ribs and the stuffed shrimp we sent to his house. Anyway, I wish. Let's bring him out the way we do, though. It's been a long time. This was the guy I wanted to be the president of the Chicago Bears, where he would escort all the bullshit nerd analytics and put that down.
We're building in Arlington Heights because I fucking said so. That's what Olin was going to do.
That's what I want. We'll see how this president handles it. But my guy, I'm so excited to bring him out in the way you guys, you TTNL fans all around the world know how we do it. I hope we do it justice here with this absolute legend of Chicago Bears football. You know him, the captain, number 57, Olin Kreutz.
Badly hurt are you and Big Cat right now?
I'll be completely honest with you. I feel like 100%. I just played like shit today.
When we see number 57, we think of one player. And this guy personified exactly what it means to be a Chicago Bear. Over 13 years in Chicago. This guy made the Pro Bowl 6 times and has 182 career starts. Second only to sweetness. Bears fans, TTNL fans, get up out your seats and stand up for Chicago Bears royalty. The former Crusader, the former Husky, the future Hall of Famer. He's Olin Kreutz.
There he is.
What's up, guys?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
We missed you, man.
Yeah, well, got myself thrown out for a little while, but I'm back.
Our door's always open to you, sir.
It's like your door, our door is always open for you. So
I appreciate you guys. I always enjoy coming on your guys' show.
Well, we enjoy you, and there's nobody better to keep it 100. It's like this stage is meant for you because you have always done that. Even in that, I had to put that original interview. I forget what was the dude who was there in the locker room asking you, and he's not expecting you. Listen, I played like shit. I wasn't hurt.
I think it was Jiggets. I think
Dan
was doing the interview.
Jiggets. That was Dan Jiggets. Dan Jiggets.
Original. I think he's when the score first started covering the Bears. I think Jiggets was one of the originals, man. One of the former players to do interviews and kind of paved the way for guys who wanted to get in the media after playing football, which is what I didn't want to do, but ended up doing it anyway. But yeah, I think it was Dan Jiggets, and if I remember correctly, I did play like shit that game. So like you guys say, the film doesn't lie. So why lie? I always just tell guys that, like, in the media, why do you care what everybody says? They would say, "Oh, why did you take the blame for that play when it wasn't your fault?" And I would always say, because it's on film. Like, who cares what everybody thinks? Who missed the block? Who didn't miss the block? Everyone knows what actually happened. So you guys have a very good name for you guys' show.
We appreciate that, man. And speaking of the tape, I wanted to just kick it off here as I teased with your alma mater there and breaking down these tackles. Me and my father are differing, and so is Shane, and all three of us have the different pecking order with these tackles. But one thing's for sure, your guy, Troy, out of Washington.
Patanu, go ahead. You can try.
I was going to Patanu.
There you go.
Patanu. He just watching his tape, Olin, he has I said it several times doing the film work. There's a disposition, but there's a build and an aggressive attitude to go along with this elite athleticism that I haven't seen since you. So what are your thoughts on that young man?
He's a hell of a football player when you watch him play ball. And I got to go out. I watched him in Las Vegas play against Oregon. Like you guys know, Washington is my alma mater. So I didn't see much of him before that, just because you don't see Washington a lot. And then saw him, in the playoffs. And he just, I don't know how you can't be impressed with his game. He reminds you a little bit of Zach Martin, right? The right guard for the Dallas Cowboys. And you hate to make that comparison because you're talking about a first ballot Hall of Famer and Zach Martin. But remember, people said Zach. I remember the argument when we were down there with Zach in Notre Dame with Harry Heastan, and we were arguing with scouts like, how do you not think this guy can play left tackle in the NFL? Now, the Cowboys moved him. They had Smith at left tackle, and it's ended up being great. But Zach's played some tackle for the Dallas Cowboys when they have injuries, and he does just fine, right? So Fatanu, you know, when you watch his film, that's the thing about Olu and Fatanu is like, that's what you do because they're three guys who are very good at what they do. And here's my argument to what everyone argues about. When it's that close, like you guys know, the information you need to make the decision on them, you can't get that information, right? I have to sit in the room with him, put his film on and say, look, what do you see here on the defense? What is your actual job? What are they asking you to do here? How do I separate this guy? Okay, let me ask his left guard. What kind of guy is this guy? Well, I mean, what is he like on game day? What's he like when things aren't going well? And then you got to go through the process of figuring out, can these guys take their game and translate it to the NFL, which all three of them looks like they can do. Joe Alt now, interesting just because his dad played 13 years in the NFL. Look, that's a cheat code, man. When you have somebody who played in the NFL, the position that you're playing, that's a guy you can go lean on right away. How do I make you know Alt knows how to make it in the NFL. Period.
Right.
He knows what he has to do. He's a pro's pro on day one. Right? So there to me a little bit of an advantage. Now, I don't know. If I sit in the room with Fatano, he may change my mind because his film changes your mind, right? Olu's film. I mean, Olu, I see him deadlifting 600 pounds with Duke Manyweather. I mean, obviously he's got the force, he's got the power. He can turn his special strength into blocking. So these three guys, man, I know why you guys are all on different pages because that's what they do to you when you turn their film on.
It's amazing tape, man. I'm excited. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Jay.
No, so Olin, I have Joe Alt just in part of what a big part that comes into play for me with Joe is I love his demeanor when I'm watching him on tape because every time I watch him, he's a guy that I feel like he wants to put you through the ground, you know, every time. But he's so young in his journey as an offensive tackle. I look back to Lane Johnson back in the day, you know, a former tight end. And how much of that do you incorporate when you're breaking down to a guy that really hasn't been an offensive tackle for a long amount of time, you know, that was a former tight end and is really just scratching the surface and only 21 years old. I mean, what's he going to be like in 3 more years when he's 24? How much of that do you take into consideration?
All of it, right? It's great points by you. You take it all into consideration, especially when you're talking about a top 10 pick, maybe a top 6 or 7 pick. And, you know, Harry Heastan was there with Joe Alt and Blake Fisher. And I got to go down there and see both of them. And I'll tell you what, guys, both are highly impressive. Both are highly impressive athletes, man. Now, Joe Alt is just, he walks in the room and you're like, look at that left tackle, right? I mean, he's, gosh, I don't know what he is height-wise. And
6'9",
almost 6'9", yeah.
Yeah, and when you see it, like you knew he was transitioning from tight end. Reminds you of like when the Bears signed Andy Heck back in 97 or 98, right? Tight end, Notre Dame.
64.
Yeah, and Andy Heck's coaching the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line now, the Super Bowl champs. Yep. So just always interesting, like you're saying, the development. And then like we talked about earlier, you know, his family has something to do with the process of, okay, this is how you play tackle now in the NFL. This is the studying you have to do. This is the work you have to put in. Things are about to get a lot faster. Here's the angles you got to take. You better work on this. Now, obviously, the game has changed since his dad's played, but let you guys know, football doesn't change that much.
It doesn't. They try to manipulate that it does, but it doesn't, to your point. I got to ask you, obviously, you had a little bit of time spent with Bears left tackle right now, Braxton Jones. But your assessment of him, aside from your work with him, is he someone that's just a piece right now, swing, or is this a guy that could make you say, hey, maybe we pass on left tackle or tackle and go with the edge rusher or wide receiver with this young guy? Where is he in your eyes right now?
I'll tell you what, man. When I worked with him last year, I haven't seen Braxton at all this year. You know, for a 5th round pick, he's extremely impressive in a way of. I wondered how he got on the field so fast as a 5th round pick. He's the kind of guy when he's in my gym, I tell him once, I turn around, he never does it wrong again. Right? You never have to worry about him again. I was extremely impressed with. I was extremely impressed with him when he came to the gym, and I know why. Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears believe in him because he is going to work on what he needs to work on. He is going to take coaching, he's going to absorb it, and he's going to apply it, which is hard to do. Like you guys know, all of us have coached and been a part of football, and sometimes you're wondering what the hell are these guys doing. I thought I told them to do the right thing, but he is a guy who does things immediately after you ask him to do it. Now, obviously, he had to work on sitting down the bull rush. You worry about that injury last year with the neck. That's two things to me, guys. When a guy's neck is sore, obviously now he's using his head to stop the bull rush, right? He's not using his punch, not using his hands. So the answer he found, the things we worked on when he was in my gym was hamstrings and hips and how to absorb the bull rush in those areas, right? Because a lot of guys think it's in your hands and it's not, right? It's in your legs, it's in the feet, it's your feet in the ground. But I couldn't be more impressed with Braxton Jones. Now, do I ever think he'll be an all-pro type left tackle, a top 3 or 4 or 5 guy in the NFL? Not right now. Not from what I saw. If you think you have a chance at a guy like that, why not create competition in your O-line room? Here's what I would tell Braxton. I've said this many a times on radio shows. If you're good enough to play in the NFL, there's just not enough good guys. There's just not enough good tackles in the NFL. So you don't have to worry about if they get a guy to replace you. If they get a guy who's good at, like I replaced Casey Wigman. He played 16 years.
Yeah.
He was good enough to play in the NFL. If you're good enough to play in the NFL, there's not enough guys who can block guys. I always tell guys, never worry about competition. Never worry about who gets drafted. Worry about your game. I can see, though, from working with Braxton Jones, I can see why Ryan Poles would say, you know what? I'll go Roma Dunze, right? I'll go Morris Jr. I'll go Malik Neighbors. I'll go with the playmaker, give myself the best wide receiver room the Chicago Bears have ever seen.
It's just one other thing that I wanted to ask you, and I wrote this down so I wouldn't forget it, and just coming from you, I think this is going to tell me a lot. Every time I hear people like Olu Fashanu, they're talking about being possibly, a top 3 pick, top 4 pick last year during the season, top 5 lock. And now for whatever reason, he seems to be getting pushed down. And I've listened to 3 or 4 guys talk about it, and they keep on mentioning his hand size only being 8.5 inches. And I'm like, just speak on that. I mean, are you worried about that at all with the amount of tape that he has, shown out there being a top flight offensive tackle in college football? But speak to that. And does that worry you in the NFL, 8.5-inch hands as an offensive lineman?
It's kind of like Aaron Donald, right? Like, are you worried about size? Are you worried about just what is on the film? Yeah. What is the guy doing on a day-to-day basis? Now, look, they have all this history of hand size and guys who make it and guys who don't make it. And then you have to, like, if I was in the room, I would try to find a guy who did make it with that hand size at tackle. Yep. I say, okay, let me compare what he does with his arms and his hands. Has he learned how to overcome it? I'll always argue this. You can teach all this under and choppy step stuff, and that's great. But if you're an undersized guy playing offensive line, you better not bring that game to the NFL because you'll get run over every day, right? So it's the same thing with, has someone at your size with that hand size, has he learned to adjust? Can I get Olushano to do those things with his hands, with his arms, with his arm length, with his film, like you're saying? I'm probably not too worried about it, but it may bump 2 guys in front of him that I wouldn't have had in front of him. But still yet, this guy looks like he played football. He's got the strength to play football. Like you're saying, he's highly ranked, and then he drops. But some of those things you don't hear about, we talked about earlier, maybe they've been in a room with him, right? Maybe they've talked him through a few things. Maybe there's other things that people aren't going to say are the reasons that he is dropping. I saw Bill Belichick said today, look, everything you hear right now is from agents, right? Yeah. You don't hear anything from the teams until 12 hours before the draft. So very interesting to hear a guy like isn't it amazing to have Bill Belichick on the side of analyst work? It's going to be an interesting ride with that guy dropping bombs on us every once in a while. But it's a great point by you. I would have to, honestly, I don't really know. Like a lot of this O-line tape I get about college guys, I'm trying to watch, but man, I need all 22. I need all 3 angles. I need to be up close. You just can't get your hands on these things a lot. Their tape looks great from what I've seen.
Yeah, with Law, I could pull up the Olu Fashanu tape anytime you want to come on with us, bro, and have you with us. But I want to point out Bruce Lee, what was he? 5'10", maybe a $165, and he could knock anybody on their ass out there, right? Because of his technique. So when I look at Fashanu and I see his ability to reach block, a 3 technique or a 1 that's shaded, it's like you can't, only you can understand. Like some of fans just don't understand the ability to get there with that kind of those feet and that power and the hands. That's the dumbest thing. It's like looking for shit. It's looking
that's
for
what
something.
I'm saying. I think it's that you hear paralysis by analysis, and it, I think
5'8", 130 even.
I think Caleb Williams falls into this. These have been guys that have been in the spotlight for a long, long time, and
they start chopping
these
them
analysts.
down.
Yeah, they're finding reasons why they can't play, not reasons why they can. To Olin's point, yeah, I'm going to go out and I'm going to find a guy with 8.5-inch hands that did it, and I'll show you that it can be done.
That's why I love this dude, because that is how he would handle the role. But I just want to defend Fashanu. He is my number 1 tackle in this draft because of the tape of what he's able to do and how he handled. I mean, he handled Iowa pass rushers and that defense, which was tops. Like it's like a textbook showcase of what he does, and adding to the extent of what you're talking about with the 600-pound deadlift. The guy is built. Like, I don't care what his hands are. His arms are 30. What was his arm length? 35 or 36? It was like crazy arm length with smaller hand. Anyway, but there's also and you could talk about this, Olin. You look at Solder and some of these taller 6'8", 6'9" offensive tackles have trouble bending and keeping their feet. Now, I don't see that with all. I got to give him a lot of credit. My father was pointing it out too. That's his number 1 guy because of his flat back.
Olin Kreutz hands 9.75 inches, by the way. I just looked it up.
The combine was such an interesting event for me. Now, being a kid from Hawaii, and back in that day, I didn't go anywhere special to train for it. Right, I ran like 110s at Cook Field at University of Hawaii before I ran my 40. Like everything I tested, I was getting trained by some guy in Hawaii. He had no idea. He is not a speed coach at all. So, and I went into rooms and they were like, Olin, you can play in the NFL. I was like, the hell if I know? I got no idea. I'd never been to the NFL. And, I think I dropped in the draft because of all that. But like you guys said, it becomes paralysis by analysis. Like I said, these 3 guys, if you watch even a little bit of tape of them, they're all extremely impressive this year. It's interesting that top half of that tackle draft class, and Fashanu, you could argue he could be a guard too. I mean, just a very a really good he could play guard or tackle, depends where you like him at. But very interesting class. All to me probably feels the safest. Like a lot of guys say, should the Bears trade back? I wonder if they should trade up. Right? I wonder if they should trade up and get themselves somebody in that room to protect their quarterback, or get the wide receiver you really want. So it's an interesting draft. Do they believe in Braxton Jones? I'm sure they do. I don't know how you can if you've been around him. I know his film sometimes leaves a lot there. But if you've been around him, I'm sure Coach Morgan likes what he sees from him. I'm sure Coach Morgan, a guy like that, when you're a coach, you bang the table for a guy like that, a guy who's very coachable, does what he does. And Braxton wasn't terrible last year, but this offensive line, guys, I just love to see more talent just thrown into that room, man. Throw it in that room, and let's for once take away the question that's been there for so many damn years.
Yeah,
right. So many damn years it's been there. Put talent in that room. Let's take that question away. Me and Big Cat today were talking about. I think I played against the Giants out there. Walked on the field, and I couldn't even name you the guys that were on the field, and all next to me, and at all these guys. And it's just, you go in the locker room after, and the media is like, what happened? And you're like, gosh, do you see who's on the field? You know what I mean? Like Ryan Bates, and Coleman, Shelton. I mean, you can't not. I don't. It's not. I'm not knocking those guys. I always tell people this. Look, I'm not telling you what they are. What they pay you, what they pay them, is telling you what they are. Right? They're not the best centers in the world right now. Will now make 14 to 15 million a year. They gave these two guys $3.5 to $4 million a year. Guys, like that's not elite. Like the elite centers get double figures nowadays. I don't have to tell you anything, right? That is what guys make. I mean, Nate Davis makes $10 million a year. So this is the NFL now. If you want an elite guy at the pivot on the offensive line, let's get to a point where we got to pay someone like Darnell Wright $80 million, right? Let's get to a point where we got guys like that on our offensive line. I think you got to put more talent in that room. I know it's going to be hard with 4 picks. I know that, right? I'm not blind to that. There's, like you guys know, there's not a lot of guys who can block in the NFL. There just isn't, right? So if there's a chance there from 9 and up, I think maybe you got to take a chance.
I agree with you, Olin. I think one of the things, there's 2 things that I think get overlooked with all of this draft hype, and everybody's focused on offensive tackle, and you can speak on this because you had chaos around you the entire time at quarterback. I mean, let's be honest, nobody's talking about this. Caleb Williams, if he's as good as everybody expects him to be, he can make the offensive line better by getting rid of the ball.
Yeah, getting rid of the ball. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'll go ahead. But the other part was the inside of the line. Evan Jenkins is fantastic when he's playing. Can we rely
and then he wasn't at the end of the year last year, a couple games, right?
Right. Nate Davis, there's a lot of, like you said, he's making 10 million, but there's also 10 million questions with him.
Yeah, a rough year last year. I think he was going through a lot personally.
Yes.
Hopefully this year he comes back focused and ready to go, and hopefully those things cleared up in his life. But like you said, again, we go into a season, right? I mean, I don't know skill position wise. I've been around here since '98. I don't know if I've seen this before, right? I don't know if I've seen what they're about to walk onto the field. Now, Keenan Allen, I understand, is going to his 12th year. He's going to be 32 soon here. Those are questions that have to be asked. DJ Moore was exceptional last year, right? I didn't like, I don't know how you guys felt. I didn't think Cole Kmet did a great job off the ball last year on they call him when he back blocks off the zone, and then when they got Everett, Gerald Everett's a great H back. Yeah. He's great. I mean, he does a nice job of that. DeAndre Swift, I know he's played with the 2 best offensive lines in the NFL, and the Lions and the Eagles, but he's dynamic there back there, running back. It's just skill. Again, we're back again. I keep saying this. We're back again at the offensive line, and I think the point you're trying to make is a good one. The interior 3 is a question.
Yeah, and it's just I spoke on it when you were, we hadn't brought you out yet, but you were here, and it's just I get it. I get falling in love with the wide receiver position, and it's all about points in the NFL. But man, it's this position in Chicago has been dismissed forever. Forever. They did
like you're saying, Jonathan Tate, and then you had Big Cat Williams. That's what, and that line you had, which eventually
that
propelled
was Blake Brockermeyer, Big Cat that year. Blake from Carolina. So like we can go through the Bears' history on offensive line again. I think we've been through that, but it's always going on and getting free agents because you can't develop the tackles who we need. The last guy we developed, we talked about many times, is Van Horn and Jimbo Covert, right? He's number 6 pick of the draft in the NFL, and we all know how that worked out to a Super Bowl championship. But listen, amazing quarterback play, Hall of Fame type quarterback play. Mahomes, they can overcome a lot of things, right? I don't know if Caleb Williams is this guy. Mahomes, you see him redirect protection, get the ball out fast. He overcome like after watching what Mahomes did, like guys, I don't ever want to hear about a bad snap again. Like Creed Humphrey had about 15 bad snaps in a Super Bowl. It wasn't even mentioned, right? It was it was an afterthought. Like Mahomes picked it up and dealt it.
The Super Bowl and the national championship game, both. It was unbelievable.
Unbelievable. They just good quarterbacks get everybody paid, make everybody look good. So if the Bears find this, if Caleb Williams is this guy, you can you can get away with an okay offensive line. Right now, Caleb Williams is this guy, but like you guys know, right? What did Mahomes do? Where did he walk into? Andy Reid. Walked into Andy Reid, right? Right into Andy Reid, and Andy Reid talking about play quarterback. And when you watch the game, when you watch them win Super Bowls, they are out coaching people with the best quarterback in the world. It's amazing to watch. Shane Waldron, he's on deck, man. He's on deck, right? Again, the Bears offensive staff, the Bears are doing it again, right? They're doing it. I don't know. Someone has to rise up. The cream has to rise to the top. One of these guys got to become one of the great coaches, because you can't do it by yourself in the NFL. Everyone needs to be surrounded by great players and great coaching, and we will see how this goes. Now, I know people talk about Geno Smith, but depends on what you believe, right? Was it Shane Waldron, or was it that he played with Manning, and then he played with Phillip Rivers, and he learned how to play quarterback? We talked about Joel, right? Talk about Geno Smith going to the Giants, going to the Chargers, watching guys that know how to play quarterback, right? Here we are. Caleb Williams is coming in, and everybody's talking about the receivers and the running backs he has around him. I want to know about the coaches and the guy he's going to learn to play quarterback from, right? So Tyson Bagent, I like him. I don't know if he can teach Caleb Williams how to play quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, that is a good point. I was going to get to that point, but let's stay there. You know, I will never, it's already on video. I was very adamant about firing Matt Eberflus. There's I won't change that. I'm arms folded, because I have always said to the fans, the biggest free agent signing is the coach. The culture, the teaching, the expectation, the accountability can't be just words on a fucking painted wall. They have to happen daily, and it has to happen. No one knows more than you do. When you see a fraud and standing in front of the room, the locker room falters, the games falter, and Mark Trestman is an example of that. Just wasn't a leader of men, and that's what happens. But you're 100% right. The Bears continue to do this process where, for us, though, finally, I am seeing the Bears get an opportunity. I will tell you, in all of my years of coaching and scouting, this is the best quarterback I've ever scouted. That's including Peyton Manning. It's including Andrew Luck. It's including them. Watching his tape and how he does what you're talking about Patrick Mahomes do. All of these guys manipulating truths, not watching tape and worried about pink phones and all that shit. You have the reality of tape showing you, wait a second, this is another fucking level that the Chicago Bears have never seen. And you played with Cutler. I thought he was the most talented as far as God-given ability. He just didn't give a fuck. And it showed. You got to want to win like you did. And those guys will be anchors dragging you down, even if they're the most talented. Caleb wants to win. So now, to Olin's point, with personnel, offensive tackle, wide receiver, is it pass rusher? Coach Shane Waldron becomes the biggest story after this draft and how he handles the best offensive talent the Bears have had in a long, long time. I mean, you played with Brandon Marshall, right?
I didn't.
No, you weren't there with him. I don't know why I thought that.
No, I didn't play with Brandon Marshall. That was a talented offense, right?
That was
Marshall, right? Martellus Bennett, Forte,
Alshon Jeffrey.
Alshon,
that's the closest thing, right?
And the offensive line was pretty good too, right? Massey and
Bobby.
What was the guard's name from the Packers? And then Kyle Long.
Oh, Sutton.
Sitton.
Josh Sitton. Well, Kyle Long.
That's a great transition right there, because this was going to be my next question. You bring up Sitton, and I remember when the Bears signed him, and then all of a sudden Kyle Long is moved to a different position, like literally a day or two before the season started. Should I be fearful, Olin, of the Bears going offensive tackle? And let's say they drafted J.C. Latham, who there's been a lot of talk that he is a Ryan Poles and Ian Cunningham type of talent, body size and all of that.
6'6", 342.
Yes, it's crazy.
Don't get into a bar fight with JC Latham. I'll tell you that much.
Exactly.
They cleared the room.
I'd be concerned, and the Bears, better than anybody.
I don't think so. I think I know what you're going to ask.
Concerned about them moving Darnell to left tackle.
No, I don't think so. I think I don't know how you guys feel, but I think offensive line is almost like a basketball team. Like you got to get guys that complement each other, right? You got your power forward already, right? You got your guy. Now go get yourself an athletic, long tackle. Olu, you're talking about get your guy who reaches the 310, reaches the 110, moves his feet. Like I always tell people this. I remember walking to the line of scrimmage one day, and Josh Beekman and Roberto Garza are next to me. I'm the tallest guy in the middle of the line. I'm like, Jerry Angelo, come on, man. Put big guards next to me. I got the short, fast guy handle. We don't have to stop putting short, fast guys next to me, right? So I always say, I think Poe, listen, Ryan Poe's now, if you came in when he took the job from Ryan Pace, and you said, what exactly do you want the general manager to do? This guy has hit it on the nose now. I mean, the number one pick, getting the number one pick again, Caleb Williams coming up, as you were just talking about, you put his film on, you're like, man, this guy's talented, man. Right. This guy can play ball. Now, you don't know all the processing information, what they're asking him to do. You don't know what Lincoln Riley's calling there. Lincoln Riley, I heard it's a one-word offense. Can he play quarterback from the pocket when he has to call a full play? Can he redirect protections? Can you see? I always tell guys, Drew Brees used to call, we used to call in New Orleans, when I played in New Orleans, they call it Paint 22. It's strong duel, right? Strong duel protection. I don't have a grease board, so I can't go to the fans, so I explain it to you guys. Strong duel. We have Mike Sam, right? Whoever you make the mic, you have the next guy out. When they said paint, guys, it meant Drew could paint anybody he wanted. Okay, so it wasn't strong protection. Yeah. It was protection wherever Drew wanted it. So he would dummy cadence, right? Yellow 80, make the defense show him. He'd maybe point the backside cornerback to your left while you're looking right. He may call 22 as the mic, and then he wants the ball right away and the ball's coming out. Okay, so those kind of things, right? But then again, who was he with? Sean Payton, right? He's with Sean Payton. It's both of them. I went down there to New Orleans my first year there. First time I ever saw an offensive walkthrough, how it's supposed to be run, right? 2 hours of walking through Sean Payton, coaching every position, telling the running back, telling the wide receiver to slot Lance Moore, you are a half yard off on that route, right? That's how they were when they were in New Orleans, and that's why they scored points all the time, and they had the quarterback. So those things like I'm talking about.
Right.
You like Caleb Williams. You like all these, Jaden Daniels. You may like them. I don't know who you like, but I'll tell you this. No matter what you see on film, if you can't get in a room, if you can't ask the coach to play he's calling, if you can't answer him what happened on that play, why didn't you see the safety roll? Why didn't you see this blitz coming? You got to figure those things out before these guys get up. But Caleb Williams, turn it on, man. Turn the film on. And like you're saying, you cannot not like the way the ball comes out of his hands, the plays he makes. I do not care what color he colors his fingernails. I promise you that much.
Yeah,
exactly. Coming from you, that's the quote of the night. Because if Olin Kreutz doesn't give a shit, I don't know why all these fucking clown boys do.
You come to Honolulu and come to one of our family reunions, you'll see a lot of things. There's a lot more Olin Kreutz is accepted than most people. I'll tell you that much.
Olin, just before you brought up New Orleans, though, how different did that have to look for you? I mean, just the box when you get down there. I mean,
listen,
you had to feel like you were stealing, right?
On the bus in Green Bay. If you guys, no one's going to remember this. I'm going to say if you guys remember
we
this.
Will.
That year, New Orleans opened the season in Green Bay. It was Green Bay Packers versus New Orleans Saints. I think it was Sunday Night Football up there in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think they went up. I can't remember exactly what happened, but I'm playing center, and they went up. Aaron Rodgers then went up by whatever they went up by. And Drew walked up and he said, Olin, we're going no huddle, right? And now remind you now, when they installed no huddle in New Orleans, the coaches leave the room. Drew installed no huddle.
Wow.
So he said, we're going no huddle. We never stopped scoring. Okay. And I looked up and I did a lot of this the whole game. There's no one to block. And they had Darren Sproles in the backfield, and they had AJ Hawk trying to cover him, right? And I was like, AJ, you are done, man. He's running option routes. Sproles was running option routes. Guys, by the end of the game, I forget the exact score, but there was 400-something yards of offense. We lost by I think we were on the 1 or 2 yard line. And it was the first time I ever thought to myself, Sean said, we're going to run this ball in. We're running power. And I thought, fucking why? Right? Yeah. Let's go 5 wides. Yeah. And let Drew Brees deal from the 1 or 2 yard line. The first I ever thought that. Like, fuck running the ball. Let this guy behind me. Let this guy be. I don't think my jersey even got dirty that day. Like, I don't think I even hit anybody. And I remember I went on the bus and I told Carl Nix and Jari Evans and Zach Streif, and I said, guys, this ain't even the NFL. Like, I don't even know what this is.
Yeah.
There wasn't a time I didn't go on the field that year for the New Orleans Saints. And remember now, that was Jimmy Graham, Marquise Colston, Lance Moore. They were just stacked, right? Drew Brees, right. Carl Nix, Jari Evans, Jamar Bushrod. Anyway, that there wasn't 400-plus yards of offense. Right, and I remember thinking to myself, man, I don't think the center matters.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, it was a lot different. It was eye-opening to watch Drew Brees play quarterback. I have a million stories from there. I'll finish with this. We did the walkthrough, and Drew Brees threw the ball where the ball was supposed to go and walk through. And I did my normal and I stopped, and he went through his progression. Okay, he went through his progression, and then he broke contained out of pocket, and he ran a scramble drill. I didn't know what the hell to do. I was like, should I still be? But with him, it was every time. It was every play, and that's what we're talking. When I'm talking about detail, what do you have to find out about these young guys? That's what you have to find out. You have to find out if they have that in them somewhere, right? Because that is really what greatness looks like.
Let me get to this guy, Scottish Bear over in Scotland. He wanted to ask, Olin, you are a leader of men. Who was the guy in the locker room who you looked up to? Olin, you really are Bears royalty. We love you, man, he writes. Who was the guy you looked up to, Olin?
Well, first of all, I appreciate the compliment, man. When I first came in, if you were in the offensive line room, and these guys become a really good friend of mine, and I have a gym up here in Lake Forest, and he's there every day. But Big Cat was just a really he was a pro. He worked hard. I always tell people Big Cat was an interesting guy to play with. You never thought he was paying attention in meetings, right? And we had a word on the offensive line. It was blood. And blood meant a blitz is coming. Or we thought it was coming. Just everyone pay attention on the offensive line. If you hear blood, pay attention. You don't know there's something weird going on out here. Just a warning to everybody. So Big Cat never said much. Always looked like he was drawing pictures in the room my rookie year. And I was like, gosh, how does this guy play? He doesn't even pay attention. And, we had Andy Heck. Andy Heck had a briefcase, and Andy Heck would ask questions like, when number 1 crosses number 2, and I was like, gosh, is this chemistry class, right? So my first game ever, I'm on the field, and I think it was the Green Bay Packers, and I go over the ball, and we have to make calls, over or under or odd or even, and let everybody know what was going on. And all I hear is blood. It was Big Cat. Like he called the blitz. Yeah. The blitz was coming, you know what I mean? Like a pro's pro. But he was a good leader when I first got there. Another guy, I mentioned his name now, Casey Wigman. Casey Wigman taught me how to be a center, taught me how to study. Guy never made a mental mistake of my game. So there's just when you get to the NFL, man, you can pick. You got 10, 15 pros in the locker room. Guys don't make it there because they don't do things the right way.
Yeah, Reuben Brown was a name that I thought maybe you'd bring up. I mean,
well, he was in Buffalo. He was in Buffalo.
Oh, right. But
Reuben didn't come to my 9th or 10th year. It was my 9th year. Yeah, 05 was my 8th or 9th year. So Reuben came in. Reuben is an interesting story. Now, Reuben, remember now Greg Williams got rid of him in Buffalo, right? Because they had some things going on. And Rube gets here. I could tell stories about Rube all night. Rube gets here, and Rube is like, he won't hit it. Like, practice was not Rube's thing, right? He's just saying, I'm not. And I remember thinking, like, this guy is washed up, okay? So we get to our first preseason game. They got Rube with the twos behind Rex Tucker. So they got an 8-time Pro Bowl at the time. He was at the twos behind Rex. And Ruben is standing in line. We're all stretching. And he is screaming at the top of his lungs, standing up. Roar! And so Lovey goes, Olin, can you talk to him about, so I walked up and I go, Rube, and he looks at me and he goes, I go, you all right? He goes, I'm looking for it. And when I find it, these motherfuckers are in trouble. And he was right. I'm telling you, they put him in a game, man, and he beat the shit out of everybody. And listen, I went in after and I told the coach at that time was, it wasn't Harry. Harry came the next year, right? Terry Shea, and who was the O-line coach that year? But anyway, I told him, I said, I don't care what you think about Reuben Brown. Put him next to me,
Yeah,
and let him block people, man. So, but yeah, Reuben obviously would have been a guy if I was younger. But by the time he came, I think I was the 8th or 9th year.
How underrated! You brought up a name that honestly was a guy that I loved, but he just couldn't stay healthy. Rex Tucker.
Yeah, man.
That dude was so strong.
Out of Texas A&M. I mean, I tell you what, you want to talk about cutting off the backside of zone. Rex Tucker, man. They paid him after his first year starting.
Yep, yeah.
And then we were in Champaign because they were redoing Soldier Field.
That's
playing
right.
Too. Yep.
New England. No, who were we playing? Anyway, he was face down. His foot fully dislocated. It was face up. It was the backside of dual because the thing washes on you.
Yes.
So it washed right on the back of his legs.
Oh my God.
The next year he tore his Liz Frank. He was out. Yep. Another great Reuben Brown story. So Adrian Peterson, our former running back, he was running the ball in practice in 2-minute drill, and he ran into Rex's elbow. And Rex was just coming back, just looking good, and Reuben was backing him up. And Rex was laying on the ground, and it looked like he was out. I think he did. He tore something in his elbow. And he was out again for 3rd year in a row. He had fought back. And we were all down, man. We were just like – and Terry Shea was like, move the drill. And I almost killed him for saying that. But Pete Hayner. Pete Hayner was the O-line coach.
Hayner.
Yeah. Anyway,
move the drill.
Reuben comes in the huddle, and he's like tearing up. So I look at him. I'm like, Reuben, he goes, I don't even know this motherfucker, and I'm crying. But yes, Rex Tucker was an amazing football. If he could have stayed healthy. Man.
I love Reuben Brown. He's like riding his motorcycle now, right?
Yes. That 2001 line, right? Big Cat, Chris Valerio was a monster. Now.
Indiana, Pennsylvania.
He used to take 180-pound dumbbells and just I was like, Chris, I don't know if you're supposed to make 180-pound dumbbells look like that.
Did he ever talk? I've never heard the dude speak.
He did. He talked, and he's actually a head football coach now in Pennsylvania at a school. Been there a while. I think he's been coach of the year a couple of times. He does a great job.
Oh my God, that kid was an underrated beast.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He was an underrated beast. My God, we had some luck with the offensive line with you there. Signing some of those free agents.
Those 2 years, right? 2001 when they signed Blake Brockermeyer, drafted Rex Tucker, Chris and Kat had Kat. They moved from D line to offensive line. Kat's an amazing story, right? I mean, if you think about that. Dave Wannstedt, Tony Wise moved them. Maybe less. And then in 2005 and 6, we got John Tate from the Chiefs, right? We got Fred Miller from the Titans, and then Reuben Brown from the Buffalo Bills, and we got Garza from Atlanta.
It was always doing these things. You've been around them.
But that goes to show you it's always through free agency.
Yeah, but the other thing that he's making a point to, and I think the fans really need to hear this, Olin, is what are those years have in common? You won with a good offensive line. We never had the really good dynamic quarterback. We haven't had that. So
would be nice.
Here, if you're getting
we deserve it.
To your point, we do deserve
we deserve it.
To your point, you might want to skip on a wide receiver and look at an offensive
one of the
tackle.
deepest positions in this draft also, and people
wide receiver.
People are not talking about that. And I mean, I get the top end is fun, but man, it's also fun watching your quarterback make plays because he's not on his back, not having his foot turned around the wrong way like Olin was talking about. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this, Olin. There's a cluster, I call it, and we'll just use it with you. If you're looking at that because you only have a limited picks, you have limited picks, 4 picks, and that second round with the deep wide receiver class, can you cluster yourself and say, okay, if we trade down, I still can get Latham, or maybe Fashanu slips down there, or another tackle. I'm not as high as everybody else is on Talis Fuaga of Oregon State. I think he's strictly mauling right tackle, maybe guard. He's very top heavy, like, but he's strong, like, but for me, he's not where they're ranking him. Fatano is just outstanding.
Right.
I mean,
it's a crazy. The way he looks on film, the way he moves on film is crazy. Here's the thing I think about it is like, on their team, the Bears, it's like Larry Borum, right? Tevin Jenkins. Remember, Tevin is a mauling right tackle. I mean,
right.
That's what we got him for, right? And then Darnell Wright. Like we don't need another one, right?
Exactly.
We don't let's get a guy with a little more athleticism, a left tackle type, right? Let's get ourselves a few left tackle types in that room. Like you're saying, someone's got to cut off the backside 3 technique if you want to run the ball in outside zone. If Coach Morgan wants to run his outside zone play, now Darnell Wright does. Darnell Wright's run blocking last year, some of the things he did on film was amazing. I mean, the way he gets his pads under people, the way he moves his feet. Sometimes the way he just ducks his head and blocks people with his big head is amazing to me, right?
Bro, there's 2 games where he's clearly has a shoulder injury.
The one he's playing with one arm. Yeah.
He's cutting off and punching across the face because this arm is dangling. I mean, he has.
He's tough. I mean, he showed you everything last year.
Yeah, he really did.
You know, the thing that a lot of people like to talk about the draft, and I always think, okay, it's great, but second, third, fourth year guys, they always interest me way more, right? I mean, it's the first time. I'm sure Darnell Wright is fine, but it's the first time he's had an off season without preparing for the NFL draft, right? It's the first time he's been away from Hallis Hall, and he had to go find his own trainer, and he had to get himself going. He had to wake up in the morning. He didn't have class. He didn't have draft. He didn't have his agent. He didn't have draft preparation. It's the first time away from football. You had all this time off. I remember when I was young, it was like, what the hell do I do with myself, right? I don't want to tell you guys how much beer I drank, but I did, right? So it's the first time. There's a lot going on, right, with these Chicago Bears. We talk about where these guys are going to be. How does Keenan Allen adjust to being in a new city? You know, I remember at the end of last year for the Chargers, he said, I do not want to go anywhere. This is the only place I want to be. And now he's here, right? So, but then obviously he has Chris Beatty, who's his former coach. But there's a lot of things you're watching with this team that people take for granted that I'm still watching. Okay, how does this guy take a step this year, right? Javon Dexter, how does Montez Sweat do this year going to the season? A lot of these guys, Jalen Johnson, now he's paid. How does he look out there when he shows up? A lot of these things for the Chicago Bears, like you're talking about the leadership part, the head coach, the leaders in the locker room. It's going to be an interesting football team, but you get yourself a quarterback, and it changes a lot of things, man.
Yeah.
Just by you describing your experience with Drew Brees should get people fired up and understand how.
Oh yeah, how much it can change. Just what
it just changes everything.
Yeah.
I want
even took him some time though, right? Even took Drew some time.
Sure. Yeah.
Exactly. That's, and I don't want to beat this down, but you know, there's been I called them, you know, our guy David Kaplan. You love him too.
My guy Cap.
He calls him the Colt, the Fields Colt. They've gone into high. I said Jonathan Hood said the lights go on, the roaches start flying out of the room. A lot of these Justin Fields fanatics, I call them, left the building and now are trying to manipulate their truths. But, you know, to your point here, if the kid comes in here, you still have to have an understanding of the giant leap that college to pro is. You can't just, all right, now I'm folding my hands. Where's the Super Bowl? That's just not fair expectation. His resume was the tape. And to Olin's point, the Bears have done their due diligence. And for everybody I've talked to, I mean, him on the whiteboard was outstanding.
So was Jay Cutler. So you know.
Exactly.
So was Jay Cutler. He was outstanding on the whiteboard. Outstanding.
I have 2 questions from that.
Go ahead.
When do you know that a guy doesn't give a fuck? Like, he's there, he likes it, but he doesn't love the game of football. Like, you looked over at Reuben Brown crying for Rex Tucker. and he's legitimately loving the game. Big Cat maybe
just
falling
Phil,
asleep, but
yeah,
loved the fucking game.
Real
Chris
quick before-
Zorich was talking about he comes in as a rookie. This is his favorite fucking team, Phil. And he's looking over at his idols. And Mike Singletary loved the game, but two of these other guys that he loves, they don't fucking care. Okay, we'll see you at the party after we lost to Buffalo by 20.
Exactly.
When do you know?
Just real quick, Olin, before you answer that, because this plays into it. Phil and I had Shane Matthews on, and we were talking about some players back in the day, and I still think about it now, and it makes me laugh because we were talking about, quarterbacks coming in and just any player. And he goes, I got a great one for you. He goes, we drafted Cade McNown. And he goes, the first fucking time he came on the field, I saw him throw 2 passes, and I said, this motherfucker can't play. He goes, he can't
We drafted
throw.
this motherfucker.
That's who we drafted in the first round.
Shane Matthews is a pretty good fucking football player now, man.
Yeah.
He really was.
Yeah.
That year, I think I snapped to Cade, Shane, and Jim Miller. I don't know who else I snapped to that year, but you know pretty early if a guy's got it. Very rarely do people make a jump out of nowhere, right? And that's why I think sometimes some of these teams miss the boat with having guys around who can recognize things immediately. Like, this isn't the guy. You know what I mean? Like, this is not the guy you want on your football team. The NFL is just so hard. The NFL is so hard, and how you know is I always think that the way you know is when someone plays bad, when it's very obvious on film that you had a bad game, which we all do, right? I got a million bad games I can show you. I got a million bad plays I can show you. He's in the locker room the next day. He's not hiding from it. He's back in the weight room saying, that's on me. I'm going to get better, though. Don't worry about it. I'm studying film. I'm going to get going. There's not a million excuses, and the guy is back to work, right? All of a sudden, the guys start coming late, leaving the building early. You just kind of wonder to yourself, gosh, where are they going, right? Well, what do you have to do at home at 3:30 in the afternoon? That I wouldn't know. So pretty early if a guy is the guy or not. Now, some guys have to learn. Like I talked about, like when you see it, until you see it, you don't know how much work actually goes in to being in the NFL, right? You don't really know. Some guys naturally have it. They have a love for the game. They're obsessed with it. Some guys have to see it and see another guy doing it, but okay. That's what it takes, right? That's how you get good in the NFL. So it's interesting. It is an interesting question, but for a guy, it's hard to explain. But for a guy who's been in the locker room for a lot of times, you can see it almost right away.
Yeah, but and this is what made you as a draft pick. And listen, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. My father says it. I'll say it again. One of the best centers you'll ever see. Deserves to be in the Hall of Fame is Olin Kreutz.
Can I get there at some point? Holy crap!
My father wants you in too. So
every other old lineman on the all-decade team is in. I gotta wait.
Yeah.
That's all right.
It sucks, man. You deserve it, man. You definitely deserve it. And but the thing about you, even beyond the tape of deserving, and this is the mic drop, is Olin Kreutz made other players that could be more talented than Olin Kreutz or didn't realize what it was to wake up and decide, do you want to be fucking playing here? Like, you were a diamond in the rough because you went in the 3rd round and you became this leader. Everybody in the fucking world, the quarterback should be the leader, right? No, wasn't Cutler, wasn't Miller, wasn't Matthew, wasn't whoever the fuck was playing. It was Olin Kreutz, and that was across the board. Thomas Jones comes on here. Oh, clearly Olin was the leader. Steve Edwards, he's on our network. He has a show debuting Monday.
You always hear Olin and followed up by Mike Brown. That was the
Olin and Mike Brown.
We'd hear about,
but always Olin won. Olin, as a GM, are you looking for that alpha personality, that person that's going to come in here and does that? Maybe it's Joe Alt. He has that special quality, and then you're able to, me and Shane have always said this to our fans, like, we rank them, we're looking at the tape and we rank them there. But I believe, I'll just speak for myself, if I was given the opportunity for the Bears, because I love them, to sit down with these guys, I would know this is a guy. I don't give a fuck how talented he is. He ain't gonna make it. He doesn't love it. You have that ability to see that. It's a shame that the Bears don't embrace that. They take it with a grain of salt, we'll say. They should embrace you. I don't, even if your language is whatever, I mean, it makes them uncomfortable. I don't know, but that quality about you also should propel you into the Hall of Fame as well, because a lot of people's careers are on the back of your leadership and your love of this game. I truly want you to know that.
Leadership's always kind of interesting, right? When you talk about a lot of people ask me about it. Interestingly enough, you know, the funny thing was, I always tell people I never woke up in the morning like I'm gonna go lead today, right? I never really thought that, right? Just kind of leadership, like you guys know, in any line of work, is the guys who are just showing up to work, right? They're there every day. They're working. In the NFL now, people say like, oh, this guy's an alpha dog. No one's scared of anybody in the NFL, man. You got to earn respect. You got to earn respect, and you got to get to work every day, and you got to be the guy in the weight room. You got to be the guy setting your film. You got to be out working people all the time, and that's how you earn respect. You just show up every day. You know, I went 9 years without missing a game. That's how you earn respect. I played through injuries, right? I came back from taking my appendix out after 1 week. I didn't miss a game after an elbow surgery.
Forget that.
You know, I tore my Liz Frank in the NFC Championship game, and I didn't leave the game. Right? It's just played with a high ankle sprain. Probably shouldn't have played like shit, but I still played. You just earn respect from people, and you keep working. That's what leadership really is. And like you're saying, how do you find that? Where do you find that? And interestingly enough, like I told you guys, we get to the NFL, we get to the Super Bowl in 2005 and 2006. Is what I always tell people. I'm like, you keep talking about, like, you know, we got to get Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey. You got to see where they are in their careers when they're setting the tempo, right? When they become the identity of a football team, it's like their 10th year, right? Their 11th year, their 12th year. It's just interesting when you take a really good look at what a team needs to build culture, to build things they need. When you talk about leadership, when you talk about doing things right there with the love of the game, it's so interesting because they actually have to get in the building and see what the NFL actually looks like before you can tell if this guy can lead there or not. Because guys can lead in college. Because I'll tell you why, you don't lose much in college, right? You don't.
Right.
Like I mean, I maybe lost 10% of the time in college, right, at the most. Gosh, I got to the NFL, I got my ass kicked like 40% of the time. It's brand new for a lot of guys. The game is so fast, right? It's so fast. It's so different. Everybody's so good. Can you pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and get your ass back to work? And then at the end of the day, earn the guy next to you respect where you can ask him to do things that he needs to be doing.
Olin, back when you were in the league, obviously, something that I've noticed that Ryan Poles and Ian Cunningham are doing a lot more is having guys on the current team involved in the draft process.
Mm-hmm.
You know, taking these guys out to eat and, interacting with them. Is that anything that you guys did over your years in Chicago? Was that a part of the process at all to involve you guys that way to get to know these guys?
No, I never heard of that. Maybe later this has become a new thing, but not when I was in there. No, and it's an interesting idea. It's almost like recruiting in college, right? You get a feel for guys. When they're in the bar and they're drinking, you get a better feel for them after hanging out with the guys, the things they say. So it's an interesting way to approach it. Ryan Poles is a younger guy, right? And like I said, you can't argue with the way he's accumulated, what he's done. You just really can't, man. I mean, obviously right now this is a critical time for the Chicago Bears. It's a fun time. He's put them in this position. We all watch them dismantle the team and then celebrate putting it back together, which is always interesting to me. You create the chaos and then you celebrate the fact that the chaos you created, you made the team better. But he bet on trading the pick and he won, right? Like so you got to give him that credit. It's been amazing to watch.
And then
now
he
we'll see
wins
from
the mega millions.
Yeah,
he won the mega millions with the extra bet. It's amazing. And to your point, and this is what I beg the Chicago Bears to wave the white flag. Ryan Poles understood who Olin Kreutz was and is, had the experience being under him. I think your presence around the Bears offensive line and those coaches would be immense, invaluable on a level like it's just so disappointing to me. And I know you're here, but I've said it many times and I've taken a lot of shit, and then people will throw up your take on some player or whatever. And I'm like, listen, everybody's going to miss. But I
will argue now, like when they throw my take up, that whoever I've talked about still in the NFL. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, and they still play, and they'll find a starting job somewhere. So they will say about, like they'll bring up Sam Mustipher. Sam Mustipher played in Baltimore last year. He's in Denver now. If Denver doesn't take a center, he'll be their starting center, right? So that really is my take. People go after me for, and they go after because I trained Sam, and I love Sam. Sam's a great guy. I trained him since he was a junior in college, right? And he's working his way through it. But they'll throw up a take on a player I've had, but they won't tell you what that player is doing now.
The other thing is, though, your value in ability to assess a bullshitter would go a long way with the Bears, who played politics over performance so many times. And that's really my hope that
to your point, they can tell it on the practice. Just to go back to Shane Matthews, this kid can't fucking play. The players know early. But
but Olin still has that care. He still has the care.
If you go and look at K McNown, I don't know what game it was. You got to go back and look. Might have been 99. He played against the Lions. I mean, you got to look at his stat line.
Marcus Robinson.
I think he threw for like 3 touchdowns, 300 plus yards.
Yeah. Some crazy number.
Crazy number. I'll never forget that game because I set Luther Ellis and he swam me. Luther Ellis swam me right off the route set. And I yelled, watch out to Cade because I got beat so bad. And Cade came back and he was like, thanks for the warning.
Watch out.
Hey, listen, I don't know if you ever seen Luther Ellis's biceps, but you had to jump Luther Ellis. You better not sit back on him. No. So I jumped him like 5 times in a row, and he finally swam me. Oh, man, I got beat bad on that.
The one thing I remember about Cade from that year, he had a couple of deep balls that he overthrew Marcus Robinson or somebody, and they asked him after the game, about the overthrowing the guys. He goes, I guess they just weren't running fast enough. That's what Cade
That sounds like you.
Yeah.
Hey, Marcus Robinson, man. I don't know if that was a year. He could not be stopped.
1,400.
Oh, man. He was something, man.
Marcus Robinson.
Guys, I hate to bail on you guys. I got to get going. I appreciate you as usual. It's always a fun show, man. I love being on.
Real quick, Olin, do you have a favorite in the draft?
I really don't. Like I tell it, this is my line for everybody. I did the draft one year. I remember when it was in Chicago. I did the draft. The score had me do the draft. It reminded me of my fisheries 101 class. It was a lot more than I bargained for in college, right? I didn't know they were called a mollusk. So many damn scientific names, right? So I took fisheries 101 in college. I thought that was an easy A. I almost failed that damn
class. I thought it was a clam.
Yeah, I mean, the draft is like you study 500 guys and you talk about one guy. So the draft, I give people credit who cover the draft. Who's the guy who does the Beast book? I mean, I give him. That is. There's so much to study. And then I just found that I couldn't get that, like you guys know, I don't like the bullshit, man. I don't like to regurgitate information that I get. I feel like when I do the draft, I'm doing a lot of that. I'm regurgitating a lot of information that people are saying. I want all 3 angles of the all 22 film. I want to know the play. I want to know what the guy's training numbers are. I want to know what he's like in his, do you like this guy? Yeah, sure. I mean, holy shit, if the guy should go in the first round, you're going to like his film, right? Like you're going to if the guy goes in the first 2 rounds, he's not going to look bad in college, right? He's going to look good, right? If a guy is exceptional at football, I mean, you're going to like what you see. I just don't know. The draft is always kind of a hard thing for me to do. Who do I like? You guys can tell. Now, I got to know Joe Alt a little bit, right? I got to know him at Notre Dame a little bit. I don't know how you cannot not like what he does on film and his pedigree. Now, I haven't seen as much film on Olu. I haven't been in a room with Olu. I don't know, right? Furtado, I got to see him play Oregon. I got to see him in the playoffs. He went to Washington. Of course, you do not. How do you not like the way the guy gets after people? I mean, you gotta love that when you watch his film. So, do I have a favorite? Like I always say, the information I need to pick a favorite, I just can't get to it.
Yep.
Well, listen, we got to do this more. You're outstanding, and we love you, man. You're such a good person. I had the pleasure of meeting you at breakfast together with me and Jim Larison that day. And
Yeah, that's a good day.
you forewarned me, and you were 100% correct on my experience with the Bears administration. And hopefully Kevin Warren, I believe, is cleaning some of that up, and they bring back Olin Kreutz. And hopefully our fans understand. I see in the chat how much they love you, but all the best to your sons this year at Illinois. And
Illinois, yep.
We'll keep you.
My daughter just accepted a scholarship to play volleyball at Miami of Ohio. So we're excited about that too. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. So
Jim.
It'll be a good year.
There was Jim. There's Jim right there. He had so much fun with you. He's watching the show.
Get him in college playing. You don't have to pay all that travel ball.
Olin wouldn't let us
volleyball is what they do to those kids. Someone needs to get involved and knock that shit off.
It's crazy.
Like they got them playing 9 matches, 3 sets on floors that are just they should not be. Anyway, one time I'll leave you guys this. I took a baseball the pitch tracker.
Yeah,
and I tracked my daughter's jumps, and I was like, any orthopedic would not agree with what they're doing to these kids. And it's all about money, which is fine. It's just you don't need 3 days of 9 matches. You just don't need that, right? Like they're keeping these people like you're being Kansas City to 7 at night on a Sunday. Like, guys, is there any common sense left in the world? Please.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's Olin Kreutz, man.
That's
follow
a
him.
Full show in and of itself.
Oh man, we would need 3 hours for that.
What's your daughter's name?
Grace.
Grace. All the best, Grace. Shout out to Grace, man. That's awesome.
Still love that. Yeah.
All the best.
Appreciate it, guys, man. I always appreciate being on. You guys have a good night.
Thanks,
have a great night. Olin Kreutz, Shane.
Always love it, man. No bullshit. That's what I love about.
The Bears have to, and Ryan Pohl should be the guy to.
Yeah, they're making
reach that with George and whatever the fuck that whole thing was.
Well, they brought in a new guy.
He was telling the truth. Ryan Pace, and I didn't want to get in it, admitted, they offered him 50. Your integrity gets shattered. Like, I've given everything to this franchise, and you're going to offer me $15 an hour? What am I teaching kids how to drive a car?
Exactly. I've talked about it a little bit, Phil, and it's, and I'm not bagging on Kevin Warren, but I think anybody that's been a Bears fan can see that Kevin Warren loves the spotlight. He loves to talk. He loves to be in the middle of everything. Well, at some point, you got to go beyond that. We need to see the strides made, beyond that, and with the organization, with things behind the scenes. They made a move today that's been, and I can't tell you that I know anything about Ted Cruz, the PR guy from Kansas City, but I know that everybody that's been talking about him on Twitter and on social media, people that know him, saying how it's a massive hire for the Chicago Bears. Really, really important, big time hire, and how it's actually critical and crucial to the development of a young quarterback. He was critical with Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, really?
Brought him here.
Well, they've made 3 positions. Like what they're executive, whatever.
They're reshaping the organization to a
modernize
organization. Yeah,
it ain't Ted deciding LaDainian, no.
Right, but
we're getting a lot of
at some point it's got to go beyond. Listen, it's just to Olin's point. The Bears have never, and still to this day, they've never torn it down the right way. They've torn it down, and then they hire the GM
patchwork,
and So we'll see.
And this is where, to Olin's point, and he's alluding to it. That's the one thing I'll say is worried about, because I've spoken to him privately.
Yeah.
And so am I. I mean, all of them. I'm not gonna.
Well, this all
That's
gets
that's
lost.
the difference, because there's a lot of these guys, and Shane, you called it out. Like we've had to let go of people that couldn't be critical of people on the team that were liked because the fans would be mad at them, and that's just not how this works.
Well,
that's why you guys tune in every week for
that's
the
why
truth. You might not agree with it.
Phil, that's why the quarterback
Logan
civil war
isn't going to
existed.
agree with it because he's always fucking wrong. So those types of people will come back and debate. I'm sorry, Shane.
But that's why the quarterback civil war existed, because y'all call yourself Bears fans and you're tearing this kid down. It has nothing to do with tearing a kid down.
It was the truth.
It's providing analysis about what you see. And because your expectations weren't met, listen, let's be honest. Everybody, it doesn't matter if you're in a relationship or if you're breaking somebody down on tape. There's a point in everybody's life, if it's a marriage that's falling apart, where you just know, and yet you sweep it under the fucking rug because you don't want to accept it. You don't want to fucking deal with it. And then what happens? 1 year goes by, becomes 2 years, becomes 5 years, 7, 10 years. It's a lot. Sports is the same fucking way. And I was going to bring this up with Olin. I think one of the biggest moves that I'm most proud of for Ryan Poles. Yeah. Listen,
anybody know where you're going.
Anybody can trade the number one pick. That shit's easy. That's easy. It's realizing that Chase Claypool is a piece of shit, and you fucking move off of him. You move off
the
of him
opposite of
within a year, because Jerry Angelo and Greg Gabriel and guys like that would have doubled down and said, that's our investment. We got to squeeze every little piece out of this. 3 and 4 years later, it's still the same issue. And you can't live that way. He fucked up. It was terrible. You move on. You take the L and you move on. That is part of team building. It's not going to be perfect. If you're batting 250, you're a top GM in this league.
Exactly.
You want to point that he fucked up the Velus Jones pick? I get it. Can Velus resurrect his career with the new kickoff rules? We'll see. I have no confidence that he's going to, make the team, but we'll see what happens. But Chase Claypool, all of that, but just
that was a mic drop moment for me, because you're doing, you point out Jerry Angelo, other regimes would have done it. Let's just keep him and see what he does next year.
It's Phil Emery giving Jay Cutler a 7-year contract.
Exactly. They owned it. Like Ryan, perfect example, Ryan Pace, he had his moments with Kevin White. They kept him that other year. They didn't want to admit what everybody saw. He had one catch that 1 year. Go back and look at it. You bring in another guy that's hungry for talent, that's going to make fucking plays. You can't continue that politics stuff. Real quick, Shane, I want to get this out there in early part of the show. Guys, we're down to 2 weeks, and I want to shout out the amazing. Listen, I could walk in with a George Jefferson-like strut with Caleb Williams, but the doubt that people had that TTNL fans would step up for our nonprofit football team and help us to see these people that doubted me in the league, and to showcase now that here we are, only a couple weeks left, and I don't know if I could zoom, but we're over $10,000. We're over the halfway point. Got 2 weeks left, and I'm just asking. Every dollar counts. I hate to be that guy, but these kids are important. Some of you guys, Craig Lumbra, my former teammate, overnight threw $500 at these kids. That's amazing. I want to shout him out.
Is our guy Gaines right
there. Gaines right there. Tyler Ellis, $40. Lawrence Fleming, the voice of the Bears, Teresa Watkins, she's from England. She threw 20. Adrian Hernandez. Mark B.
Cherie's mom.
Cherie.
$1,000.
Cherie threw $50 in there. Go Wolverines. All of you guys, I'll shout you out at the end of the show. But I'm trying to push this. I've been on the phone with the equipment guy today about the Michigan labels. All you have to do is go right here, D. Levine. You can either put your phone up to that QR code in the corner of your screen or give.thetapeneverlies.com. I have talked to all of the people on the board of directors. We're trying to rename the stadium TTNL Stadium because of what the TTNL fans. Now, mind you, I've asked literally just today, I started asking friends. And this has all been fans of our show from all over the world, truly showcasing what a family is, just like we've talked about many a time. So just outstanding. And I know some of the anonymous donors are some major broadcasters and beat writers, and they're chiming in here. Just wanted to take that time out and thank you all. Honestly, the emotions that I'm having over that while I was in Florida to see, and Shane and Carr and you guys brought it up, and having that go up and be able to get these kids these uniforms and helmets and the helmet sticker, and we got to dip the face mask, and it's been crazy. But anyway, I wanted to get that out there. No one believed that we could get to 10,000. Now we're over 10,000, and every dollar, like $10 matters. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's amazing, guys. Honestly.
Yeah.
So thank you from the bottom.
Sport, man.
It is, man. I talked to the guy, I go, just out of curiosity, because Tate, he's waiting for Caleb Williams. He knows it's going to be 18 because Uncle Shane.
Do we want to show him the official jersey, Ivan?
Not yet. It's actually it's right over there, but not yet.
Ivan has this guy to thank for that.
Really? Okay. I don't know this story. This is new, but
it's well worth the
for shitty jerseys, it's not that shitty,
Yeah. No.
I can't wait for this.
Those Amazon links came through in the clutch.
God, huge.
Well, just for an example, I go, well, Pat Mahomes, his helmet, what is that called? The guy's like, oh, that's the SR-74, whatever the fuck it was called. I go, just out of curiosity, how much is that helmet? Because my son, he's like, hold on. Youth? I go, yeah. He's 10. He's like, okay. Comes back to the phone. That's $459 on sale.
That's just the helmet, no face mask.
No, it comes with the mask.
Oh, it is the face mask.
It comes with the mask.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was like, no face mask. Wait a minute.
It comes. I go $459.
Some accessories.
The hutch, the one that DJ
Don't
Moore.
give them any ideas. They'll be pulling those fucking face masks and charging extra for those.
DJ Moore, Sauce Gardner, all these guys wear this specific hutch helmet. All the skill player guys are wearing it. DJ Moore wears it. So we'll see. That one is only $299.
Did you see the Sauce Gardner tweet today?
I did, bro. That was great. It's like, how the fuck are the Bears this
with all the talent they already have? How the fuck do they have two top 10 picks?
Two top 10 picks. Meanwhile, Bears fans are fighting like mutters in a fucking storm.
Yeah.
About the codes they're gonna crack at quarterback. Oh my God. Like, embrace this moment, because we will never see a moment like this again. Speaking of youth football, Dalton Spain, $9.99. His kid, both of them. One's a quarterback. We got to meet him, Ivan, at the tailgate. Great.
They play for the Windy City Dolphins.
Oh,
yeah.
Ivan knows.
Yeah, I actually played like in Pee Wee football. I played against.
Were you in that?
Well, I was in a different park, but I played against them. They were always a dominant football team. Always had a great.
Ivan was 25. That picture that he showed us, he was actually he was 25 playing against the high school kids.
I am 12.
Ivan, big running back, running over people. Shane finding that was great as well.
Oh no, I didn't find it.
My mother found it.
He was at his mother's. Yeah.
Oh,
she
nice.
gave it to me.
I shared it on page. I asked Ivan if I could share it.
Patron.
Yeah.
You were number 23, Ivan.
Yeah, I was 23, and then
that was for Devin Hester.
No, it's for Michael Jordan. But
Michael Jordan, Chicago kid. Come on, bro.
But
wasn't fucking Ryan Sandberg.
I also wore number 5 my senior year, and that was just me putting the two numbers together.
2 to 3 together.
Yeah,
he's good at math. Also, that's why we brought him here.
He's doing a great job.
I do good at the mathing.
Well, Dalton Spain, $9.99. Wait, he said, watching Bill Belichick speak today, I really don't see how he doesn't have a job. I was amazed listening to talk ball. He talked more on Pat's show than his whole coaching career. I got to check that out. I did not see Bill Belichick speak today.
He is going to be on with them with their draft coverage.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Well, you want to lock it in here with us.
Yeah.
And tape that and watch them later, because we will be live covering the draft live as the Bears step to the podium. We got a lot of surprises, a lot of guests jumping on. Cap is going to predict both picks from Soldier Field prior to the draft. So Shane and I will be on earlier than the draft coverage that night. Cap will jump on with us real quick. Jonathan Hood, Adam Rank, and a bunch of other people. Surprises. Shane has a few surprises. So
working on one. We'll see. We will see.
HL Priest has $2. Thank you, HL. I could listen to Olin all night. Absolutely. Some of the stories, his personality is contagious. I really wanted him to come back on the show and do the stuff. TTNL should have the balls to bring this up and call out Hogue. What?
Just fucking.
It was starred. I didn't see.
He put it in there like 5 fucking times. Like he wanted Olin to talk about the stuff with Adam Hogue. Like we're gonna.
Oh,
come on. Jesus.
Why are we gonna bring that up?
Yeah. It's
like when people bring up the old network with us. It's like, oh my God, we did a whole.
When they think they have a good point, they put it 15 more times in the chat. It's just come on.
My guy 100 Ben Frank $4.99. Why did we let go of Foreman? We should have let go of Khalil. Flus evaluation to do what the team does good worries me. Listen,
it's not a Flus evaluation. That's a
GM, but it could come with Flus.
They didn't let him go. He had signed a 1-year deal. He was a free agent.
They just turned the page on him. You can obviously see.
Yeah.
They benched him. They didn't use him. Then they did, and they were winning.
That's the thing. And this is what people you can produce on the field, but you also have to. Maybe you're not doing the right things. I don't want to say off the field in terms of getting in trouble legally, but if you're not doing things in the classroom, if you're not showing effort in practice, those things all matter in the NFL. That's part of it. And this isn't, I was a Deontay Foreman fan when they brought him here. I was a fan of him on the team. We don't know the behind the scenes thing. This is a guy that's bounced around the league an awful lot and has produced. So that kind of gives you a blueprint. He signed a 1-year deal with Cleveland. We'll see what happens. But I don't know why you would want to release Khalil Herbert at this point.
Yeah, you already have him.
Yeah,
I agree. You already have him. If you're talking about a trade, then maybe we could talk about that. But the reality of him, you don't just let Khalil go right now. I'm interested in the running back room a lot. See what they do.
Do you think there's
Obviously,
sorry, Phil, do you think there's a guy in the later rounds, if they were to, let's say, come up with some more draft picks, if they trade down at 9 or what say
Oh, I know where Phil's going.
my guy visited the Bears, I guess. Was it
Yeah, he
today?
Yeah. So
Audric Estime is
that's
one
Mike.
of my.
That's our guy. That's our guy. So like what running back? I mean, obviously you'd go with Estime.
Well,
but
Benson, I believe Benson is the best in this class. I have
overall,
him.
yeah, and I put Jalen. I could easily have them 1A and 1B. Yeah, that's why I was laughing about 30 seconds
I
ago.
didn't know why you were laughing. Yes, probably, Jim. Let's go to blame Canada, Jim.
But
that was great.
Phil, you were a fan of Ray Davis, I believe, too.
I
Right?
like Ray Davis. I think he's underrated.
The only player in the history of college football that has played for 3 teams and led each team that he's played for in rushing the year that he was there.
That's a stat.
Temple, Kentucky, and I forget the third team, but yeah. And this is the thing. Somebody said, "Oh, I don't think any running backs are going to go in the top 50." I think that's a lock. No running backs, and I think you're going to see these running backs into round 3.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if no running backs go in even through the second round. So
I wouldn't be shocked either.
Yeah,
I like Blake Corum. I have Benson number 1.
Yep.
Blake Corum I like, but Audric Estime has something. And I'll tell you this. We haven't talked about Will Shipley from Clemson.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm on Shipley.
Shipley does things out of the backfield that Caleb Williams and him could be outstanding connection. Shipley has a
route dumping off the.
that's
the thing. That's
what he was talking about.
DeAndre Swift,
AJ Hawk having to deal with it.
He's a little smaller, but like you guys said, out of the backfield, pass catching, he's dynamic. He can be dynamic.
Shipley puts his face into people and will you don't have to. He's a guy on tape, and I didn't get to talk to Olin that you just know loves the game of football. You don't even have to sit down with that guy. It's just all out effort. I know a lot of people are talking about Braylon Davis. What's his name? Braylon Allen.
Wisconsin.
From Wisconsin, coming off
the
an
youngest
injury.
player in the draft.
He's big. I don't know. I got to watch a little bit more of him. He's 6'2". I think he's like 240, 235.
Lauren Cox is a huge
big fan.
Oh,
big fan. Well, I trust Lauren. Me and Lauren have liked a lot of guys. The same.
Clip that.
I got you.
I don't think Gore Jr. gets a lot of love, but I like his tape, and I love the kid from Missouri,
Corey Schrader.
He's another guy that's going to go late in the draft.
And Phil loves Dylan Lobb.
I do not.
He's actually visited with Chicago.
I saw that. Someone tagged me in it. Your boy. I go, fuck Shane. I don't even know what that. I saw him at the combine, and I'm like, this kid is going to end up playing receiver or punt returner. I don't
and that's the thing. And a lot of these guys, the kid from, who was I listening to today? The kid from, find his name. Garendo from Louisville in terms of
Isaiah or is it Isaac or
I
think it's Isaiah.
Isaac.
Yeah.
Garendo,
Isaac.
yeah.
Okay, Isaac.
But in terms of the new kickoff, that's going to give some of these guys life. And they said that was critical for the NFL with the new kickoff rules to get this implemented pre-draft, because some of these guys are going to get drafted specifically for that role.
Great point. I wanted to say that since you brought it up, the UFL XFL created this kind of change, and now the UFL isn't doing it. Even though they combined 2 leagues, they're kicking off like the old NFL. I'm like,
yeah,
what the fuck? I was hoping that would showcase itself this year as we transition to that new rule in the NFL. Something I just thought was dumb by the UFL. You have an opportunity to showcase, okay, this is what we're transitioning and showing you the NFL's new.
Well, it's because they combined, correct?
Right, but they should have
Yeah.
embraced that since
Yeah.
you're trying to be a minor league to the NFL. You have to like embrace it like that. You're a spring minor league. If you don't, because now they're getting pissy with that kicker.
Mhm.
What's his name? Bates. He's burying like a 65-yard kick. I don't know. I thought you have to, these spring leagues have to like embrace you're the minor league. You're not competing with the NFL. It's not going to happen. Nobody can. Caitlin Clark can't. No, nobody can compete with the fucking NFL. It's what it is. Soccer, sorry, no. The British and all the Europeans,
Well, in America,
that's all you had.
Yeah.
That's all they had. If they had football there, they'd be loving it too.
Yeah. Keys guy Waldman will be coming on, and it's Phil and I actually just
Friday night.
Yeah,
Friday and then he's going to come on after and break down a bunch Caleb with us and whoever else. If we draft a Dunze or Neighbors or Bowers or whatever we do, Matt Waldman will jump in and join us. I like the Austin Eckler, Jeff Burton, patron number 2.
Yeah.
He was the second believer. Where has Otis Nichols been? Is he in mourning of Justin Fields too?
No, he was in the chat last week. He's like, Phil's not here, so I'm here. No, I'm kidding. But he was in there. He's been around.
Lunatic. People seem to forget how bad of a coach Flus is. Lions Broncos games. We don't forget. I'm glad Warren has his ears now, because if I was the ear, EAR is the ear, I'd tell Warren to fire Flus, and polls ain't safe either. Just saying. Well, let me say this. You're half right. What Ryan Poles has done and what Shane and Olin pointed out, and the brilliance of setting yourself up with an extra pick. I don't care what anybody says. TTNL is the only one, because I was so adamant about where I was with Justin Fields. And I'm sorry. If that hurts your feelings, that was my true analysis. I didn't jump with Shane. I was just like, I didn't care about anybody. This is what I saw, and I stuck to the guns, and it hurt people's feelings, and friends have left. People on the network don't talk to you and left because of their fandom of Justin Fields. And if you think it's beating a dead horse, then you weren't me, having to deal with the threats and the bullshit, or Shane having to deal with the shit that he's had to deal with just for standing up for the truth. And even Bullets was hanging on to Justin Fields at some points, saying, come on, guy. And Jackal's been waiting. Justin Jackal, I called him, because he was hanging on to Justin Fields. And I'm like, bro, I'm telling you, he's average at his best at being a quarterback. Makes highlights, fucking great. Run the ball, great, but that ain't going to take you to where you need to go. The Bears have it. This kid, though, Caleb Williams, he can do it. And Shane said, Phil, what do you think? You know, I know you like Bryce Young and this. They have to do their due diligence. You give Justin another year to prove it. Then you're setting yourself up. Why would Bullets be calling me while we're live? Oh.
You'd probably tell
me. He's like, Phil, did you hear Justin Fields got traded?
Yeah, the Bears secured the number 1 pick.
Are they going to take updating me on Justin got traded? But what I was saying is that Caleb Williams was there. And Shane pointed it out. If you trade and you get that number 1, now you got 2 1s. So if you have to move up, you can get Caleb Williams. So to Shane's credit and to Ryan Poles' credit, he did this. He chopped it down. He made the trade. He got you DJ Moore. He demanded that, but got you that extra pick that it becomes the winning mega $1 million lottery, right? And now the rest is history. It's amazing where we've gotten to. And
oh yeah, it's
people.
I've said this 1,000 times, Phil, in true Chicago Bear. Listen, we've lived with this team our entire lives. Normally, we're drafting number 2 in this draft. You know what I mean? We're
exactly.
Like,
we never get that luck like we got.
And I mean, how good does it feel that, you know, that there's no angst, there's no worry. There's a couple of different people that know Caleb Williams privately and talking about how excited he is and how all in he is on the Chicago Bears and embracing everything that comes with it.
Bro, I think just retweeting and liking all the negative shit should have told people this guy is built different, man.
Oh, and Phil, you know what's gonna happen next, because he sent out a tweet, you know, talking about how
what he's gonna
be wearing is gonna be one of one, and it's gonna be, you know, pretty crazy. That's gonna be the next thing that people focus on to tear the kid down. You know, he's gonna.
He made the whole draft about himself with this costume.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers. Are you
Ezekiel
watching
Elliott
last year, the year before, with these guys?
Ezekiel Elliott wore the fucking Zorich half jersey the year he came out, right?
I sent that. I go, I blame Zorich for this. Are you watching Zorich? Ezekiel Elliott's cut off, showing his belly. Yeah. What did that have to do with Ezekiel's run in down? Stop. Are you watching last year? Maybe someone could bring up some pictures of because the NFL Network has that red carpet. They got the mom, they got the girlfriend, they got the cousins, they got everybody walking up. I mean, for the last Ashawn Robinson. I remember his fucking outfit walking up. I was a big Ashawn Robinson fan.
Me too.
And I'm like,
he's still getting paid in the league.
He's still getting paid in the league. Come on. Caleb Williams is going to make you do one thing. It's going to make you do one thing. Cheer on Sundays. That's the reality of what it is you're going to be doing. And the Chicago Bears, our favorite football team, are finally having a guy that has better than elite talent on such a level. And the other things, Olin's right, you know, and we're trying, because I've seen a few of these. Well, we need a word for them. I don't want to call them cockroaches. Grifters. I'm stealing from Greg. I've seen a few of these grifters. Now they're folding their arms. Well, the playoffs then. If he doesn't go to the playoffs, then he's a bust. What? You're a bust. You're a bust as a fan, because you just don't get football.
It's way more. It goes way beyond 2024.
Exactly.
That's all I'm going to say.
This is about creating, like, what do we say? Franchise quarterback. Franchise means over a long time.
Ryan Cox had a great text today.
I didn't get any text from him.
Oh yeah, you're not in that super
chat.
Secret, chat. We're still vetting you after all these years.
I can't be in a chat room with cars. I make him. He has anxiety. He has panic attacks if I'm in there.
Somebody asked Greg Gabriel how long it's going to take him to be able to tell if Caleb Williams is the man, and he said 5 to 6 games in his rookie year. And then Ryan Cox had the mic drop moment. with it. And he goes, but Justin's had 40, but we still need to see more.
Exactly.
I stay with him.
I'm sorry, bro. You
And
can't.
I don't even want to go.
Both sides
I
of your
don't even
mouth.
want to go back down into that vortex. But so this is what we're gonna do here.
We're gonna
throw this up here, and we're gonna have a little bit of a debate.
I love bullets, by the way. He's texting me. He called me during the show. He's the new Angelo. I did speak to Angelo, Shane, today. Everything's okay.
Okay.
Hey,
I told him, Shane, you're going to write a script for him for next week's draft week so he can introduce it. So however I go, Shane's going to do all. Okay. He's ready.
Probably should have kept that quiet from the Maz. We just lost 13 viewers.
Oh, did we?
No, I'm kidding.
I'm sorry.
All right. So
I can't believe we're 8 days away.
Oh, I love it, dude. This is legitimate. You know how it is. You know when you're a
Can
little.
you do me a favor?
What's
I
that?
need a clip from you because can you say this is for something specific? We never do a script, but I need you to say something about grown man Christmas. Can you give me anything with passion, with pride?
That's what I was just gonna say.
Really?
Cut me off. Yeah, I was going there.
Way to ruin it, Phil.
Do you remember when you were 6 and 7 years old and you were laying in bed, the night before Christmas, how excited you were? And then you get to be, 13 or 14 or 15, you kind of lose that luster a little bit. I have that feeling for the draft of a, 6 or 7 year old on Christmas Eve. Still to this day, and I'm 47 years old. I'm an old ass man. It is. It's grown man Christmas, and we're a week away. Let's go, man. I'm super excited. I take days off work.
Oh yeah.
Plan.
I'm so with you, man. I've never felt such. The days I was in Florida enjoying vacation, and the days were dragging on when you went into that place.
17 days, 48 hours, and 24 minutes away. Bullets says.
He said 7.
I know we're on Bullets clock. So. But anyways, let's get into this real quick because we're gonna get out of here at a decent time tonight. We got a big week coming up, and I got to be at the fucking dentist tomorrow morning. But anyways, so at number 1, our Chicago Bears took Caleb Williams. Jaden Daniels goes 2. Drake May goes number 3. Marvin Harrison 4. Roma Dunze goes to the Chargers.
Wow.
Number 5.
Can you imagine?
Malik Neighbors. Now this getting down here, I don't see that happening, but I guess stranger things have happened. And number 8 is even crazier to me. Brock Bowers.
To Atlanta with Pitt, Bowers, Drake London.
To, our fortune, this leaves Joe Alt. Man, are these guys just
trade
Cooper
down?
DeJean going up and up and up on PFF's board? He's at 8th overall now.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking crazy. I like Cooper DeJean.
I like mine. Draft
8 overall. Come on, man.
No.
Latu is rising on their board. Look, I love him.
Yep. So, but you have 12 trade offers on here.
I like my cluster of guys.
I gotta
clip in that too.
Fuck. You're an asshole.
All right. So in these trades, so you got Denver, New Orleans.
Denver's at what, 12 or 11?
Denver's at 12, New Orleans at 14, Indy at 15, Cincy at 18, Rams at 19, Cowboys 24, 25 Green Bay, Buffalo at 28, San Francisco 31, Kansas City 32. Then all the way down to the Chargers and Houston in the second round. So what is the talk? Are you sprinting to the? Are you sprinting to the podium and turning in Joe Alt?
I'm not.
Ivan, what are you doing?
For me personally, not Ryan Poles, right?
Yes,
I
we're
want to
doing
trade
as
this. I
us.
want to trade this down.
Okay.
Like no matter what, in my mind, I want to trade down for the simple fact that I do believe that they have a real connection to Braxton Jones. Like they truly believe in Braxton Jones' talent. I think if you're able to drop back into draft a little bit, maybe you could land a guy like Blake Fisher, and just reinforce and
That
allow
was
him to.
Great point right there because Olin. So this is two guys now.
Mhm.
Steve Edwards has brought up Blake Fisher as an absolute starting offensive tackle in the NFL, and Olin was giving him some high praise again tonight too.
Yeah,
So,
I also liked Fisher as well.
yeah.
Right. So yeah, I would, me personally, trade down.
So Phil, where are you
I'm
at?
trading down too. I like the cluster of players.
So what? So
I even know clip.
All right. Now, see, I'm just saying me. I know how I am. I'm drafting Joe Alt at 9.
Yeah, I
and
know.
I'll figure everything else out. But so with these trades, what range are you guys? Are you looking to get more bang for your buck in terms of picks?
I'm just trying to get a second round pick because I want my cluster of players.
Yep.
Are there?
How far are we going? Like,
well, we have a wide range. We can go. You're essentially you have everything is available to you essentially
players
from 12 through 20. Well, yeah, 12 through 19 are essentially all available. But so
I want to see the available players. All I saw was Cooper, DeJean, and all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would
Latu, Newton, Murphy,
they have Newton
Arnold,
that high too.
Fatanu, Turner, Fashanu, Latham,
Mhm.
Verse, Mims, AD Mitchell.
Right.
3 of my guys they have ranked lower than they ever should be, but
so I'm sticking to the same thing I've said time and time again. If they're going to trade down, I don't want them to go further than 15. I know I've done some goofy shit in the mock drafts, but like,
well, that's the thing.
Realistically, it's 15.
Right, and that's the thing, and I'm glad you brought that up, Ivan, because I'm already seeing in the chat. Don't outsmart yourselves, guys. It's a fucking mock draft. We're trying to have some fun with it. You're creating debate. A mock that Cars and I did. We traded down and got some later picks. We took Xavier Worthy, and then somebody's like, TTNL's pounding the table for Xavier Worthy, and I'm like, we did a mock draft, man. No, what do you stop? It's a fucking mock draft. But I'm with Ivan on this.
I would trade down.
You guys know me.
lower.
I would draft him at 9. I understand the other side of the fence, but I think to me the number is 15.
I'm with you there. I would stay there based on the guys. Like for my rankings, can you just scroll down?
Yeah. Well, what positions do you want to look at?
No, just Latu, Alt, Byron Murphy, Olu Fashanu, Troy Fatanu.
Can I tell you this though?
Are in there, and Jared Verse. Those guys right there are in my cluster because the wide receivers are off the board, and obviously you got your quarterback. So now we have to make a. Go ahead
about Latu though. In these mock drafts, and like I said, it's a hit or miss. But in this one in particular, in the PFF, he always drops, and he drops heavy. And I know it's probably because of the medicals, but they always have him listed top 10. He's been, I think, the lowest he's been maybe is 15 in their mock drafts or their rankings. So, like I said, I believe in his talent. The medicals are a red flag for all of us, I feel like. But in these mock draft simulators, Latu is always falling.
Well, they have PFF has him what? What is his rank there?
Now he's up to 10th, and he was not there.
He wasn't there.
He wasn't there last week.
Last week when we did
was
a
he?
month, or was the week before, he definitely wasn't there. He was way
I don't
down,
think
like
Cooper
19.
DeJean was 8th. I don't
No
think.
way. And look where they put Jared Verse. I mean, that's just dumb. The guy with the long curly hair or whatever, former baseball player, is he doing these rankings? Because
all right, so let's so Denver to me is out just because of what they have available.
I need a second round pick.
What is New Orleans has 14 and 45. So Indy's got 15, 46, and 82.
Right, you're trying to maintain yourself in that area. So
yeah, so I mean, to me, it's easy. You want 15 and 46 plus. I mean, so you're dropping 6. You're in the top 10.
So I got my guys.
There's no
one of them is going to be there at 15.
There's
in
no
my
draft tax or no quarterback tax, obviously.
Exactly.
Involved in this. You're not going to be able to get 82. I don't know how that would work if you did an 82 and threw in your 4th. It doesn't really move it much, but
So as long as I'm getting that,
yeah. So
you're gonna pick up another 4th.
15.
I think they'll take you this
46 in a round 4 next year. You guys agreeable to that?
I would love that.
I would be fine with it. I mean, like I would want something right here, right now in the present. But
no, I mean, well,
we're getting 15 and 46.
No, I mean, I want the 3rd pick to be here in the present. Like,
okay,
it ain't gonna happen.
But if it's harder to,
well, it's 51% versus 57. So I mean, it's right there. I mean, you can try for it.
What's that other? I can't read it. What's the one after that? 151.
151. That's a big. Yeah. That's a big drop. So I mean, yeah.
Let's try this one. Ivan wants a 3rd, 2nd, and a 3rd.
All right. So they have.
Wow, Ivan Vargas.
All right.
Madden would have rejected me.
So Joe Alt is now an Indianapolis Colt because we were dumb and passed on him. Fatanu goes.
Troy Fatanu
goes number 10.
So 2 guys that I like are off.
I don't know. I'd be pretty fucking happy if the Minnesota Vikings drafted Cooper DeJean at fucking 11 overall. Just as a Bears fan myself,
he's a
that's
very good player.
Oh, he's a good player, but
returner.
They're in a different stratosphere about where they want to be in this draft. If they come away with their top pick, with it being Cooper DeJean, I'm pretty stoked for our division.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas Turner goes to the Broncos.
But that now is
McCarthy goes to the Raiders.
Now you got Murphy sitting here. I'm sorry, Phil. Go ahead. Keep scrolling.
Latu went to the Saints.
And is Verse there?
Yeah, Verse is still here. Murphy's there. We have 3 of my guys. 3 of my guys are in.
And you have 5 trades available also.
So 3 guys that I believe you can take at 9. Sorry, Corey Wooten. Newton is not one of them.
No way.
As Coach Joe put it.
That I said it would be hard for the Bears to fuck up if they drafted him.
Oh my God.
If they come away with him Thursday night.
Murphy Newton would compare as Jaden Daniels, and Byron Murphy is Caleb Williams in this scenario. That's how far apart those 2 are.
So the earliest trade that you're being offered is, are you interested in all? And which I don't think we'd be trading with Green Bay, but then you're talking about Kansas City, New England, New Orleans.
For me, Cleveland. I'm taking Murphy or Olu Fashanu right here. That would be my 2, down to 2. Or Verse. I forgot. Verse is still there too. I love Verse.
Yeah. So
those 3 guys.
Where you at, Ivan?
Ivan. has
here. I would take Verse because of the hole on the other side of Sweat.
I would be all in on. I'm not worried. I like Jared Verse. Don't love him. I would be all in on Byron Murphy here.
Oh, Byron Murphy, the 3-tech.
I wouldn't be upset.
I wouldn't be upset either.
Yeah. I would.
Those are the 3 guys that I would be okay with.
What would be your 3, Phil?
Olu Fashanu, Byron Murphy, and Jared Verse.
And what are yours, Ivan?
It'd be Verse, Murphy, and can you scroll down on the player side?
Yep.
Let's see. The chat is going a lot of Murphy. I see.
It'd be Verse, Murphy, and then Fashanu for me.
So you put Verse 1, Murphy 2, Fashanu 3. I put tough one.
I think 100% the Bears
Murphy, Fashanu, and
would be in on Murphy. And I just have a feeling that they would be in on Alabama.
JC Latham.
I do.
We're gonna be breaking down JC Latham as well this weekend.
But see, here's the talk that you have to have. But
again, I don't. Latham being a right tackle, extremely overweight and athletic.
There's a lot of people that don't think he's right tackle only, Phil, because they think that he can easily drop weight and he's athletic enough.
He is
going to be your guy.
The weight scares you that he's right.
He's very athletic, yeah. And that's the thing.
But
I mean,
he's not as good a fucking football player as Olu Fashanu.
Oh, no. I get that.
No way.
Again, there's projection in all of this. It's you get him in a spot and you leave him there. Is he going to be better in 2? Again, much like when you're saying that the quarterback, if he doesn't make the playoffs in year 1, then it's a bust. It goes beyond 2024. But I think
you go back to the standard Holy Trinity.
Yeah,
I love Verse. I could take Verse at 9.
I don't think anybody's calling him overweight crate. I think that probably just misspoke on that. But I mean, what do they have?
Did we have any of his times? And
6'6", 335. I mean, that's essentially what was Darnell Wright was not 6'6", but he was what, 6'4"?
No, he's 6'5".
So
Darnell Wright was 6'5", 325.
He's 6'6", 333.
Darnell?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is he
there
really?
You go. Yeah.
That just speaks to me that
that's just right tackle size to me.
Yeah.
This kid at Alabama, 6'6",
but is as athletic as he is, Phil. You get him down to 320 or 318.
360.
Well, at the combine they have Darnell at 6'5", but maybe he's in between, but he is at 333.
I don't remember Latham's scores in regards to just 40 time. What was his broad? What's his 10-yard split? Do they have any of that?
Yeah, I'm grabbing it for you right now. All right, so his official combine numbers, and of course it's not loading for me because I need it to. Come on. It's coming up for you, Ivan.
Jared Verse just has this.
I'm having slow connection right now for some reason.
Yeah, so
Jared Verse has
he doesn't have any. He must not have worked out, was he? So
I'm saying his
height and weight at the combine was 6'6", 342.
That's on. He was 360 at Alabama.
Well,
he
Alabama,
does have a weight. I've already told that he has a weight issue. It's fluctuating up and down. That worries me.
But
That's
that has
right
more so to
tackle.
do with Alabama. That's an Alabama thing, man. They have all these dudes.
They do have a great
Huge
meal table there, I heard.
But 35 and an 8-inch arms, 11.
He didn't do a drill at the combine.
Yeah.
What did he do at his pro day? Did we get a pro day, Ivan?
Let me see.
Where's Anthony Gordon when I need him? He always supplies the Raz. Well, Latham to me is not anywhere near as talented as Olu Fashanu at 6'6", 312.
So just his measurements, just to compare and contrast to what he
I just want an athletic, amazing left. Fashanu checks that box. So does Fatanu. Fashanu and Fatanu. You can't go wrong with those two players if we're going tackle. Latham, to me, is a project that you got to worry about with his weight, irregardless of what anybody else is telling you. So that's my argument here. And Olu Fashanu was talked about as you said, it could have been the first overall pick. Is how talented he is athletically. It hasn't changed. The tape is saying,
I'm not worried about his weight because I know that's what they've done at Alabama. They have all these guys huge. And again, this kid's just fucking turned 21.
Well, Dibs, you clearly aren't a patron because we broke down 5 games of Olu Fashanu on our patron side and showed you exactly the kind of athlete. And I talked about it with Olin Kreutz. There's plays on there where he's being asked to block a 1 playing left tackle, and he's coming all the way down and doing it. I mean, same with Alt. I'm not taking anything away from Alt. I just think Alt's height scares me sometimes, but he does have good bend.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Is his back going to get hurt? Is he going to be an injury-prone guy in the NFL? I don't worry about that with Fashanu. Fashanu should be a top 10 pick. The fact that you're getting him here, Latham is a late round swing.
So would you take Fashanu over Byron Murphy? I would not.
I would be in a debate with it. That those two guys, we have to look. Listen, it always boils back, no matter what anybody says, especially now, to value, need, and
our guy George. I just looked this up too. Transtru, he just had it too. I found a 40 for Latham at 4.85.
Come the fuck on.
No, I'm serious. Yeah, from NFL Draft Buzz.
4.85 at 6'6".
But that's what he's an athlete, man.
There's no fucking way he ran a 4.8. The whole world would be talking about that.
Well, he didn't work out at the combine, so this is
pro day.
Be an old
even
number.
if it was pro day, that could be a high school number.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what they had. That's the only
I
thing
understand.
That I have
He's an athlete, but he didn't work out at the combine. He has a weight problem. He's a talented athlete.
Yeah, but we don't know why. You can't say that we don't know why he didn't work out. It could be.
Well, you've watched every game.
Yeah, and
you like the player.
Love the player. 100%. 100%.
Do you think he could play left tackle? We're gonna watch his tape.
He's got to drop weight.
He's a right tackle, and that's because
and that says now we got to move Darnell. Fashanu is a left tackle, without a doubt. So don't twist this into let's swing for a shot. Let's take the bet.
No, you asked me what I thought of him, and I'm just
I'm
told you
talking
my
to the
top
fans.
3. Yeah.
Talking to the fans. Not to you. Because some fans listen, the Bears like him. I could tell you the Bears love Fashanu too.
You said last year too that you would have zero issue playing Darnell Wright at left tackle.
If they put him there, I'm good. If they last year, I don't like the continuous
No,
moving.
but I'm saying. So are you saying that
I don't
you
want to see moving?
No. But I'm saying similar sizes. Watching him on tape, he's a fucking athlete. I'm talking about Latham. You don't think if you got him down to 325 or 320, that this kid?
I want to see him. I honestly need to cut the tape of that. Ivan's actually going to cut it, right? You're cutting it.
I'm doing it as we. It's actually up now, but I'm not cutting it because we're on the show.
I know. I meant like we're going to do his tape this weekend to give you an honest to goodness showcase. But as far as tackles go, Olu Fashanu is, in my opinion, better than he's my number one tackle. So honestly, that's where I would be going. But Jared Verse is my number one pass rusher. And Byron Murphy is my number 1 3 tech.
I don't think Braxton's a guard.
No.
If you're talking about Braxton Jones, no fucking way.
You know who's would be a great guard? I texted you guys this. I think Fuaga.
Yeah.
Could be
100%.
I think he could be an all pro, like the amount of space he demands and then the ability in close range to just dominate dudes. He could be an all pro if he coached up right.
Yeah, I totally agree. He's a mauler. He is not a left tackle. Like people projecting him to play left tackle for the Bears. I
think that's way, 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 way more of a projection than Latham. I do.
Well, obviously, this is coming down to Murphy, Latham there's no way I would agree I'm passing Fashanu for Latham.
Yeah.
I would stick to my board. Fashanu is the best tackle in this draft. We'll see. Obviously, the tape will tell us in the NFL. That's where I have him. And then Verse, I think, is a double-digit sack guy. So you can't go wrong with him. And Byron Murphy is a 3 technique animal. So which one do you think the Bears, or would you place highest? Pass rusher trumps tackle. But now that you got a rookie tackle.
Well, I think about on the interior of
a rookie quarterback.
You think about the interior of your defensive line with Murphy and Jervon Dexter, and then you still have Pickens in the rotation. To me, that's something to legitimately get excited about. And I know it's not something that they're going to do all the time, but let's not forget, it's on tape. They flirted with it last year. They put Dexter outside more than once. Not saying that he can.
Dominic Robinson, they kept on. You're getting nothing. What was it?
He's not even making the team.
Green? What was his name?
Actually, you know who's working out with him?
Who?
With Rasheem Green?
Rasheem Green, that's it.
Yeah, you know who's working out with him this offseason?
Caleb Williams?
Leatu Latu.
Leatu Latu.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. So, Phil, what's your final vote?
Good night, Steven. You don't want to see what we're going to take with our second pick? My final. Why is it on? I think
I'm just asking. I'm not saying that you're making the pick. I'm asking you to give me your choice. Who you want? This is who
I would take. Olu Fashanu.
Ivan.
Verse.
Shane's Murphy.
And I would be Murphy. Yeah.
So the three of us disagree.
So who's
Ben Ricketts has?
Yeah.
Verse.
I like Verse. I just don't love him.
George loves them in China.
Yeah.
Some people are going. There's Anthony Gordon.
There he is.
Where were you, Anthony? I could not.
So
Murphy's getting the most votes.
We have the 45th pick. Do you feel better at 45 about finding another edge, offensive lineman, or a defensive tackle? Let me ask you that.
I feel more comfortable. Finding them later in the draft, are you saying? Or at
that position, you're looking positionally. I think all three of these positions get hamstrung later.
Yeah, you run into issues.
Verse has a length. Murphy is the best 3 technique in the draft. Newton isn't even in the same vicinity.
Even that to me it's not even on the same fucking roadmap.
Now,
when you're talking Murphy versus Newton,
right?
For
me, I'm looking at my quarterback. I look at Braxton Jones because I love all 3 of these guys.
Yeah,
and Latham, I'm going to look at more detail over the weekend. If you're not a patron, become a patron. TheTapeNeverLies.com. We're going to be looking at tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. We are going to be looking at 2 wide receivers, Rome Odunze and Marvin Harrison Jr., who also could be picked at 9 for the Chicago Bears. We're going to look at their coaches' tape, what Olin was talking about. You want to see all the angles. You want to see that to get a clear picture. You don't want to look at someone's spreadsheet analysis in a highlight film. Anybody could look good in a highlight film.
So while you guys were asleep, Byron Murphy became a Chicago Bear.
So Shane drafted Byron Murphy. There you go.
Okay, so for
Michael Penix is the clear
yeah,
guy.
Michael Penix.
We trade Caleb Williams to Pittsburgh for Justin Fields.
See, like for me right here, I want to go receiver. I want to try to get a top end receiver.
I want to see who we got.
Close.
Yeah, Pearsall.
Mm-hmm.
Javon Bullard is a player.
Oh yeah.
Blake Corum, they have that high?
Yeah, they've updated their rankings big time.
Oh yeah.
So
Jonah Ellis is fucking fun, man. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but he is a fucking fun watch. So Pearsall, Corley, Worthy, Burton, Tez Walker, Javon Baker's a guy that I like. Johnny Wilson, McMillan. You want to look at we can look up here. Bo Nix goes to New Orleans. Polk, that's a guy that's been getting some late run. Mm-hmm. Fisk is off the board. Leggett.
Keon Coleman went.
Yep. Adisa Isaac went to Washington.
Where'd Ladd go?
First round.
Yep. 28 to Buffalo. Fuck. So Phil, in true Chicago Bears fashion, so Verse went right off the board to Seattle. Newton goes to Jacksonville. Latham ends up in L.A. But Phil's guy, right down here, Fashanu, goes to Green Bay.
Oh, my God. PFF's rankings are so sussy.
Yeah, they're
sussy, as the kids would say.
Yep. But if we go to
Fashanu going 28 to the Packers.
Man, Ellis and Braswell are 100% in play for me here.
You have to. You just went D tackle, 3 tech. I get it. It's hard to, but who's your offensive tackle?
Darius Robinson. Well, Braxton Jones.
Who's your third wide receiver?
Who's the other tackles? I'm saying, is there any tackles left?
I'm bringing them up.
My guy from Yale. But Blake Fisher would be possible start. But based on this, you have to look at those pass rushers. I like Ricky Pearsall.
I like Pearsall too, but I don't like him enough to pass the pass rushers. Where are you at, Ivan?
Like I said, I would want, if everything worked out, I would have wanted like a Keon Coleman or a Roman Wilson. Ricky Pearsall, he's a good receiver. I just don't think that he's on the Bears' radar. So looking at it now, I would look at a Braswell. You go get a Braswell. Braswell. You could look at 75 for a guy like if you could scroll down, Shane. Forget his damn name. Walker, Devontae Walker. I didn't want to screw it up. So
he's
got
everything that you want. It's just the man. He can go through these lulls where he can't catch a fucking cold.
Yeah.
But
he's a weird.
I don't
too
know.
Inconsistent.
You guys have looked at Baker at all? I'm a fan of Javon Baker.
I like Baker.
Yep.
I like Johnny Wilson. Johnny Wilson, the big man.
I think Wilson's interesting just because of the
he gives you something different in the locker room,
right? But then you have this issue, this ability to potentially be a big time pass blocker. Be a factor in the in the run blocking game. So, you're big as shit on the outside. I'd imagine you could take up some space some way somehow.
Yeah. So Jonah Ellis, the 6'2", 246, 21 years old, just turned 21. Just to throw their sizes up there. Braswell 22, 6'3", 255. So he's a little bit bigger.
Bears always talk length.
Yeah.
So Braswell would trump Ellis there.
Somebody was asking about interior offensive line they want to see. We can take a peek at that real quick. Haynes.
My guy, Haynes.
I have Haynes in my top 50 players.
Yeah, that would be a great pick here.
I still wouldn't pass up a man. And I know that you
got to protect the quarterback, bro.
Yeah. No, I get it. But
I like Haynes a lot.
You got to get after the quarterback too. To me, Braswell and Murphy and Montez Sweat, man, you can make a lot of fucking.
So now we're down to another cluster. Haynes, Braswell.
I think you got to throw Ellis in there, and then
Jonah Ellis.
I don't know how you guys feel about Xavier Worthy. Smaller, speed is undeniable.
He reminds me of Moody. Excuse me. He attacks the football. It's not like he's just John Capel running fast.
Capel.
Remember that name?
Yeah.
Johnny Capel.
So
Florida.
What is your top two, Ivan?
It'll be Braswell, and then what was the top wide receiver again?
Braswell.
Pearsall
was the top ranked one, but I mean,
I love Ricky Pearsall.
So Pearsall, Corley, Worthy, Burton.
Yeah, just looking at it, I wouldn't go away from DN. Like, I don't need a top two. Mine is Braswell. Does I say it right, Phil?
There you go.
Braswell. So I would just take the DN here because, like I said, after three, it really you're stretching to find a defensive end. I know, Phil, you like Kamara, but if you want a top 10, top 100 talent, there you go.
Him and Jonah Ellis are in the 6'2" range. Now, Muhammad's motor never fucking stops. So I don't know where the Bears rank that kind of player, where I would rank him different.
You talking about the other pass rusher you said? Muhammad?
Yeah, from Colorado State. I love that kid.
Yeah. And Nealon.
Where is he?
He must be gone. Oh, there he is.
They look at how far they have him ranked because he's small.
6'1", 250. Yeah.
But his motor does not. How old is he? 25?
No, he wasn't. He
I thought
was
it said 25 there.
23, so he's almost 24. But who's the guy that does the beast? Dane Brugler?
Yeah.
They asked him a surprise pick, a surprise first-round pick.
He said
and
who?
The name is right there on the name is right there on the page right now. And it's not Braswell, it's not Robinson, and it's not Thomas.
It's Nealand, right?
Nealand, yes. That would be his surprise end of the first round pick that nobody's talking about right now.
Yeah, Nealand is. I understand where he's coming from, but you're projecting that kind of.
Yep.
He goes after it. Nealand and Mohammed don't stop. But this guy fits the metrics of what.
You're talking about Robinson.
Yes, Darius Robinson fits the Eberflus.
There's guys that like him inside better than outside too in the NFL. Believe it or not.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys.
So what you did? Ivan gave his top two. I think you did. You said Braswell and who was the other one?
For me,
I
it's just
say Braswell and Haynes. And I like Ricky Pearsall. I'll throw him in there.
Yep.
I would have liked the Keon Coleman if he was there, or maybe possibly a Jalen Polk. And like I said, if you had more options at
Keon
receiver,
Coleman.
I would have probably went receiver here. But since we don't have a lot of options, I'll take the Braswell.
Well, this is the fight the Bears will have. Shane picked Murphy, so who you gonna pick?
I don't get this philosophy at all.
Well, you got to be a lunatic to come up with.
You drafted a defensive tackle, so there's no need for a defensive end. I mean,
that's Madden-like philosophy. Lunatic.
I don't get. Yeah,
you just double down.
Yeah. Using this mock draft, we can get a defensive end next year. So that's you back-to-back dumb comments, lunatic. Bravo, dude. I'm playing. I don't get the philosophy. I mean, how do you not need a defensive end right now? It's DeMarcus Walker and Dominique Robinson.
That's it. Who else do they have on there? They signed a futures guy. They signed who's this guy? Coward?
Yeah. And there was some other guy too.
Imagine having your last name Coward.
Yeah.
It's Coward.
So
6'3", 300. He looks like.
Is it Braswell? Is anybody interested in Ellis over Braswell?
I'm not putting Ellis over Braswell. Braswell has that close. He had a lot of bend. What number is Gerald Everett wearing? Does that been
14.
announced? Oh, it is.
Yep. All right.
I'm trying to see position. Defensive line.
So are we going Braswell?
You're the head. You're the.
All right. So
Jacob Martin, 6'2", 242 out of 10.
Yeah, that
the Bears.
Martin was the guy that I was talking about. He's made some plays in the NFL.
He doesn't fit the description. So this right now is the Bears D line room real quick as Shane adds two more to it. Andrew Billings, Byron Cowart, 6. He's going to be inside. Javon Dexter, obviously inside, a little outside.
Pickens.
Jacob Martin, going to be a pass rusher. He's in his 6th year. Dominique Robinson, Pickens, Montez Sweat, and DeMarcus Walker, who we believe his best position is
on the inside.
Inside penetrator 3 technique. So
So we lost out, Phil, at 74. You see who went? Christian Haynes went to the Atlanta
Oh
Falcons.
my God.
pick.
One motherfucking spot.
So there you go.
We
Trey
did pick up
Benson.
Khalid Kareem last year.
Yep, he's
on
still there.
waivers. He's on the futures deal, and we needed him.
You have your choice of, well, Bucky Irving, Trey Benson, Javon Baker, Johnny Wilson's there, Kalen Bullock,
Ray
who I have no
Davis.
interest in, Ray Davis.
All the running backs are here,
Um,
except my guy.
I think
and
Jalen
Ivan's
Wright
guy.
went. Yeah, Jalen Wright went. My guy did.
So
Benson is still
Estime went.
No, I think he's lower, right? Yeah,
Oh,
123.
there he is. And Shipley's there.
So offensive
There's
line,
Baker.
wide receiver. Yep. So
And Johnny Wilson.
yeah, I would throw McMillan in here too. I don't know how you guys feel about him. I'm a fan of
Good.
McMillan. I'm a fan of
Very
Baker.
good.
Yep. Got to look at the offensive line, obviously.
We lost out on Haynes. Imagine if we got them both.
Well, yeah, and I mean in real time you
Rosengarten.
could always, yeah.
Rosengarten, we broke him down.
Yep. I'm not a fan of Patrick Paul at all, the tackle from Houston. I don't know. Some people love him. I mean, I had seen him at some points being
These
mocked
guys.
at people the end of round one. And I'm just like,
Really?
Oh, yeah. I cannot see it at all. Cooper Beebe, Van Pran out there.
Van Pran is a good pick.
Yeah. Ivan, what are you looking at here? You went on wide receivers, offensive line.
Van Pran is there for Bullets, a center. He wants a center. George, the actor, wants Rice over McMillan. Shane.
I wonder if
boy.
his reasoning is because of that right there. It's Caleb's boy. I don't know. I mean, based on tape, I don't know how you take Rice over McMillan. I don't know how you guys feel. I would have McMillan easily over Rice based on tape. Easily.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Chemistry.
Chemistry. It's an actor's thing. It's an act. You gotta have chemistry on tape, on film.
Yeah.
The Screen Actors Guild. My guy George.
So Phil, where are you at on this? What do you want to? I did the first two. I'll let you guys fight over this one.
I would honestly, I would take Trey Benson here based on my board.
70 after you just paid DeAndre Swift.
Well, I like a good running back room.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Well, let me stop and look at the receivers still. Because offensively, we need something.
Yeah. So you got Baker, Wilson, McMillan.
Malik Washington is a great slot receiver.
He is
small, but
tiny. Yeah, 5'8", I believe, right?
He is 5'8". Good though.
Oh no, I get it. Yeah, he's quick.
Get those quick.
But I couldn't take him over Baker or McMillan myself. But I
like Johnny Wilson too, but
he's fucking huge. He's
6'6", 6'7".
I would go with the Johnny Wilson.
Ivan wants Johnny Wilson. What about Van Pran?
I like Van.
Go ahead.
I like Van Pran. To me, it would come down between Baker and McMillan here. I think there's value there, but I mean,
I think and we got two trade offers. I think at 75. If we really wanted Van Pran, we can trade down, probably grab, another receiver, possibly a defensive lineman. If they, we have more options, but you could also
Is this our last pick?
No, you could also grab a guy like Van Pran a little bit later. So it depends how far they drop, but I like Van Pran too. It's just at 75, I don't think you're taking.
All right. So the Green Bay wants to trade up to 75, and you can get 88 and 91 for 75 and 122. Would that interest you guys?
88 and 91. So we'll be picking back
for
to
75 and 122, and you still have pick 117.
You still have to give them 122.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not going to give up two.
I would do that. You're in the top 100.
Yep, me too.
Keeping it 100.
Right, so we are dropping down here.
Here we go on an Ivan Vargas trade again. It's been accepted. We've traded with our rivals.
Let's see who goes. So we were at
a lot 75. Of running backs went.
They took Johnny Wilson.
There it is.
Xavier Thomas is off. Rosengarten, Irvin, Javon Baker goes. McMillan goes, and Benson goes. So now Kyrie Jackson.
Love the Benson pick.
Yep.
I like Ray Davis.
So the wide receivers.
Daniel Jeremiah has Marshawn Lloyd in the first, like his first running back. First running back.
Yeah.
I don't see that.
I was like, what is Daniel Jeremiah smoking?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I thought you meant first round.
No, first
so we're
back.
Depleted on the wide receivers.
There's
here.
Brendan Rice, bro.
Yeah, Mr. Chemistry.
Chemistry. Yeah, he totally fucked us on receivers. Now I would probably take Van Pran.
Yeah, he's definitely in play here. Cooper Beebe, Cedric Van Pran, Mahogany, Bortolini.
I like the kid Mason from
McCormick.
Yeah, he's good. He's a battler.
This is an underrated safety right here, too, by the way.
From
Texas Tech. Yeah. Cam Kitchens is the guy that the Bears have been connected to. He had the horrible 40 time.
Already.
On draft day, Tyke Smith will not even – he won't be available down here. No fucking way. Actually –
got a super chat from Shabla Khan. Shabla Khan, I could rock it. Let me rock it, Shabla Khan. Let me rock it. That's all I want to do. $5. I think the Bears think the Bates will break out under Coach Morgan. We broke down Ryan Bates, and we really liked what we saw on tape. Big Steve Edwards was with us on our patron side, so I believe they believe big time in Bates. Not only did they try to sign him and did, Bills match, they then turn around and trade for him. I mean, you have to be pretty ignorant if you think that the Bears aren't starting Mr. Bates at center. Now, if we're looking at a luxury pick right here for me, would be Jeremiah Trotter Jr. He is an absolute fucking stud of a football player.
Yep. No, I get it.
That's a luxury pick if we come back.
The ultimate luxury. I mean, yeah.
I love that dude.
Yeah, no, I get it, but
yeah, I'm just saying luxury. We're looking at need.
I know we went edge, but I don't think I've heard you talk about Braylon Trice, Phil.
I like Trice. I think he's, a shot. He's a shot. I don't know his ceiling.
Yeah.
Is my guy? Is Mo there?
Yeah,
Mo's a little further down.
Mo's still available. 6'4", 274.
Braylon Trice is
but
I think he's right where he needs to be. And me and Shane talked about this.
Yeah.
He has really good traits, power. He has some speed to him, but like there's just times where I feel like he can, he's not able to get off his block. He could be manhandled with bigger, and so it's just I think he's a good guy to have in a rotation, but he's not like I don't think he's going to be somebody that shoots up the boards and shocks you and is taken high.
Oh, he's still there, Trice.
Yeah, he's still available.
And is Muhammad still there?
He should be.
Yeah.
There's been some Austin Booker love too, by the way. Kid from Kansas.
But he's like he needs work.
Yep.
This guy, motor never stops. But he would be an outlier to the analytics of length that the Bears do. Lunatic is coming with a good post, Jane. $2. Thank you.
Nice.
These mock drafts are pretty fun. Austin Booker says Irish 67.
Where was that? Flex. I don't agree with this. I think that Brendan Rice is definitely draftable, but I thought it was a funny comment. I think Van Pran's 100% in play here, or you got 91, obviously. It just you make the call.
I would take Van Pran here and add a center developing.
Yep. So people will get mad at this, but just don't forget this name on draft day for the Chicago Bears.
Bro, you're reading my mind.
He's the fucking H-back. Blasingame is not going to make this roster under Shane Waldron. I don't feel like.
Oh,
they're not going to go fullback. They're going to go H-back.
I was talking about him during the season.
Oh.
Like, there's some blocks and athletic things that this guy does.
The Bears have been all over this kid, Phil. All over
him.
He's a 30-visit guy. You have to put him. He's obviously not Brock Bowers, but you have to put him in that weapon category.
Bro, that would be a Van. See, I think you take Van Pran or Ben now and then come back with Van Pran.
Do you have any thoughts, Ivan?
Bro, that's such a. I totally forgot about him, and I'm totally on board with you there.
I'm now that we have picks, within a reasonable range of each other, I wouldn't be mad if they went after a guy like a Ben Sinnott. It just depends on who do they covet.
After Bowers. That's the funny thing. Look at PFF pass.
Who do they covet more though? Is it tight end Ben Sinnott, or is it Van Pran? And this is just me talking, not
Well, I think probably your pathway definitely in 2024 is Sinnott is going to be a contributor, where Van Pran, I'm not sure if he's coming in as a day one starter over Bates, which I doubt.
Totally agree.
And if you want
agree. So you take Sinnott here.
Yep.
Because that is a great weapon.
Yep. So you guys on board?
I'm on board. That kid is someone that I absolutely love.
All right. So we took Solomon went off, Bernardo Green.
So you could take Van Pran, or you could take
a running back.
I love Estime.
Well, I think you could earmark him for 117.
Yeah. So
now you can get your center here of the future if you'd like, or again, like Cooper Beebe is still out there. I mean, I like Cooper Beebe, don't love him. McCormick to me is super fucking interesting.
Dude, that guy has the upside.
Yep.
He has the big upside here.
Yeah.
He's a motherfucking. He's one of those attitudes that you bring in too.
Yeah. And
if Bates goes down, who's our center? Well, they signed
Coleman Shelton.
Coleman Shelton bullets. You thought you broke that news. Come on, bullets. We have 2 new centers. And is Doug Kramer still on the roster of reserve futures? Didn't he get signed?
I think so. Yeah.
Let me look real quick because I had
I
it
believe
open.
he is.
Yep, Doug Kramer. There you go.
Yeah.
Bullets, you got your... He was testing. Like my ex-girlfriend, she was testing me. See if I... Steven Carlson's on the roster. Big tight end out of Princeton.
Yeah. So is it coming down to McCormick, BB, and Van Pran here for you guys?
Yeah.
I really liked Van Pran's tape.
Yep.
But I love the idea. Shane, you margined it perfectly. He's not coming in to start. He's someone that you're developing. Hopefully he does it. So is he... I see a higher upside on McCormick. See a luxury pick with Jeremiah Trotter because of the football player he is. We didn't get a receiver, did we?
Nope, not yet. Malik Washington, Thrash. Cowing is a super interesting guy. Very, very small, but super explosive. Brendan Rice, Taj Washington. And actually, if you want to talk about chemistry, Caleb Williams is closer friends with Taj Washington than he is Brendan Rice. But
Facebook user, Shane will tell you. Go to Facebook, use, what is it? Facebook.com.
StreamYard.com/Facebook.
So we know who you are on the overnight schmooze here on TTNL. I would love if the Bears, Nicholas, sign Hunter Renfrow. I want that before the draft. I want Hunter Renfrow on the roster as we're going into the draft. If I had Keenan Allen and Hunter Renfrow, I would be probably the happiest guy.
Yeah, I'm not saying we're going edge, but just to bring this up, these are 2 guys right here, both Michigan guys, that are getting a lot more love in the league than
Braden McGregor.
Publicly. Yep. Just so everybody knows to write that down and remember on draft day. So
Eric Watts in there, huh? From UConn.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? This kid has a high ceiling.
Very, very young.
Why is Renfrow not signed? He wants to know, Shane.
Because you're so close. You're so close to the draft. Teams are going to wait to see how the draft plays out, and with a lot of these veteran guys, people want to say that it doesn't matter, but the compensatory formula gets thrown out. It's like June 1st, I believe, where you can sign guys and they don't count towards the comp pick formula. So a lot of these guys, teams aren't going to go out and pay. And I don't want to call him a middling player. He's not, but they're not going to go out and sign guys like that right now in a deep wide receiver class when you can bring a guy in for 4 years of cost control that might be just as good. Right now, it just doesn't make a lot of financial sense.
Here we are in the 3rd round. And remember, I believe this to be true, that I don't see the giant depth that we've seen in years past.
Still, we have a guy that's looking ahead, and this is why he's made the moves that he's made. That's why he traded a 5th for Ryan Bates. That's why he traded a 4th for Keenan Allen. 100%, man. That's what he's done. And that's why people are talking about adding picks. It's
the drop off, as you could
does?
see. Now
drops
we're
off.
looking here. I'm telling you, with all the film work we've done, we're looking at players.
So now it comes down to: are you talking about a backup offensive lineman or somebody that can come in and contribute in year one? What are you looking at?
Well, you want to get a contributor. You want to get a contributor. So you would forego that. For me, I like Estime. I like Muhammad, the pass rusher from Colorado State. I believe is going to be a superstar in the NFL. I really do.
Well, if you think he's going to be a superstar, then you just
Like
fucking draft him.
I think he's going to be something special in the NFL. I intend to get his tape so we can show the patrons that, but I've been hesitant because of the length stuff. I like the Bears won't take a chance on this motherfucking guy.
Is there any wide receiver here that you are banging the table
Not
for
over,
that you have to have?
Not over the other guys.
No, I would agree with you. There's nobody that I'm like, I gotta have this guy here, and I can't wait because I'm
Johnny Mitchell. I liked, but again, when we traded, they took him, right? So,
yeah. Where's the one guy? I think he must have won
kid
it.
from Hofstra. Where's
this?
he?
This kid is interesting. From
Georgia.
This kid, yeah, he's been hurt, but he's he had that really bad broken leg, but he's a definitely an interesting
talent.
Yeah, for sure. The Bears have had this guy in also, Jaquan Jackson
from Tulane.
Yep,
had luck at Tulane.
Yeah, they sure have. So, what is your? I love Van Pran. I love McCormick, but I'd also have no problem adding it. Who have we taken so far? By the way, we
traded down
Byron Murphy. Then we took Braswell,
Caleb Williams, Byron Murphy, Braswell.
Then who was our next one? Who did we take at 75?
Sanat?
We traded. Yeah, we took Sanat. I could easily add another edge rusher here if it was me, even over top of a interior offensive lineman.
I agree.
I could go with Booker. I could go with your guy, Phil.
Muhammad.
I love Booker fits the mold of what the Bears are looking for. I mean, size-wise. But, again, I don't know how you guys feel about him. I'm a fan, but doesn't mean that you guys have to be. He's very, very young, 6'6", 245. Obviously, you want to put some weight on him. But I don't know, Ivan, how do you stack him up if you're looking edge?
If I'm looking edge, I wouldn't mind Trice. Like I said, I think he has potential to grow.
Yep.
We've already added edge and Braswell. To add him in the rotation with a guy like Sweat, you're adding another youthful guy like Braswell. I think it could be a really good mix and a really good spot for him. He's not the main guy, but he's part of a rotation, learning and growing and playing on the field,
Phil?
I would go with Muhammad Kamara. And since you got Braswell, now you have like a third down guy come in and rush. That's his specialty. That's where I would go.
Well, you guys better duke it out because you guys are making the call.
This is going to be Ivan's draft. So go ahead. He's already traded down successfully.
Go with Trice.
Going with Trice.
Now, if we would have traded down maybe one more, or we had a lower, a pick further down, and Trice
Still
wasn't
have
there,
the-
it would go Muhammad. So
Yep. So Van Pran is the
Still
second
there.
highest rated. Yep. And then, of course, wide receiver, you got your two guys.
You got chemistry and chemistry.
Yep. So I'm just trying to see what you got.
I'm ready to finish this mock draft.
Yeah, me too.
Mhm.
I didn't realize it was. I wanted to be out here at fucking 11. It's midnight.
I know. It's gonna do a real quick mock.
Yeah. So is it
me all the time?
Is it Van? Look at there's Ivan's.
Yeah, I would take Audric Estime here.
And Ivan, who are you at? Are you would take Estime over Van Pran here?
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
I think Estime could push the start, like not over Sweat. I mean Swift.
So would you take a running back over a wide receiver? I would not. I wouldn't.
I don't see the wide receivers.
Even with Washington and Rice, you don't think that they would have a role?
Chemistry.
Well,
Chemistry.
I mean, even McCaffrey. It depends on, are they better than Tyler Scott? That's
I don't have a problem. I would take Taj Washington over Rice.
Where are you at with that?
If we were choosing. Taj has that deep speed.
It depends on what the Bears want to use him at. I mean, I like them both. I don't think. I think I would take Rice over Washington, but if it's Washington, I wouldn't mind that either.
So you guys would you take them over Van Pran? Yes or no?
No.
I think I would take Van Pran. Bill, you are not on board with that?
I'm fine with you taking it. I think Estime is my highest rated player over Van Pran, even though I'm fine with Van Pran.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be fighting with you.
I'm going to turn it in. We took him.
There we go. Van Pran.
Van Pran it is.
All right. We'll just do this real quick. Let them analyze it. We've earned 3 new awards.
God, I love those awards.
Braswell. Should have did Pearsall, it says. So
they tell you that?
Yeah, they gave us a C+.
I would have
Caleb Williams, A. Murphy, A. Braswell, C+, D+. For Sinnett.
They didn't like Sinnett.
Yeah. Listen, he's going to come in here and make a big-time contribution on this team. I don't care.
Yeah. PFF scores.
Yeah. So, all right.
But you could see how it was getting very difficult in round 4. So put that in your pocket, and Shane broke it down perfectly.
Yep.
About the GM and why he made those trades. And listen, it's a down depth year.
I was watching. I have the Bulls game on in the background, and they were up by 4, and I started doing this mock draft. And now they're up by 21.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
Nice.
Luck of the mock.
Yeah. The luck of the
We
mock.
only got one more mock left next week with cars. Week, tomorrow night, we're going to break down some wide receivers.
And so the start time is 9 p.m., but if we
get
match up our times, if we get here
earlier.
a little bit early, we're gonna roll a little bit early. But let's rip through these super chats real quick, Phil, because we do have a couple.
Oh, we do.
Scottish Bear, $5. Tip jar, TTNL baby. Thank you. E90 M3 Zach, $9.99. My manager took off on Friday, and the draft called it Caleb Williams Day on the company calendar and marked it a holiday.
Wow.
I'll be watching from Dubai next week. Yeah.
Where do you work? Can I get a job there?
Yeah. He'll be watching from Dubai next week.
Dubai.
Yeah.
Look at you, man. God bless you. You'll be
Nice.
watching our show from Dubai.
I think we had that one
We
up there.
did that
Shoot
one.
on, yeah.
Yeah.
Lunatic mock drafts are pretty fun. We got Larison.
think we did them all.
TTNL should have the balls. Thanks for the dumb fucking comments. But yeah.
Oh, that person will no longer be dumb fucking commenting.
Yeah.
On our show.
Yeah, he just kept on spamming it.
Yeah.
And there, I did see that.
What?
But anyways, let's get out of here.
Let's do it, guys. Sign up, become a patron. Once again, thank you. Real quick, I got a couple texts other than bullets asking me. This will be the last 2 weeks. We shut it down April 30th. If you want $10, $5, $4, whatever it is, Mike Hall gave 50 cents. Get it in there. No, I'm joking. Mike gave 5. The give.thetapeneverlies.com. Shout you all out. Thank you so much for the show. Shout out to future Hall of Famer Olin Kreutz.
Can we gotta call out our guy Lunatic? He's having a rough night.
What happened now?
Said I might have to take the day off of work for draft day. It's Thursday night, right? Yes.
Come on,
Jesus.
Lunatic.
How do you not know that, man? Come on, bro. Get in there. Get a fucking calendar.
Oh my God, Greg, droning on and on. Shut the fuck up, dude.
Creighton Seed, $9.99 as we're going out the door. Big love, guys. Great show. Thanks for bringing Olin on. Great show. Thank you, Creighton C. Thank everybody.
Keeping it 100. Yeah. What's happening? What's happening, Bear Mates? What's up? Funkster here. Larry Burner Funkster Jones here. And I'm repping TTNL, the Tape Never Lies Network. But I want to let you all know the views that I have are not their views. They're my views and my own opinion. But I rep them because I love them. DDP, Draft Dr. Phil, my brother. Shane the Smartest Man, my brother. Claudio the Barber, Chris Jackal, Lady Bear, Sherry, Ivan. Man, everybody associated, my man Chris Jackal, everybody associated with TTNL, the Tape Never Lies Network. The best in Chicago Bears coverage. On and cracking. None other like it. I'm telling you, it's the best. Woo! The draft time's coming up. They're going to have the draft coverage for you. Man, nobody breaks it down like
around
Draft Dr. Phil and Shane the Smartest Man. Doing it. And Patreon. The Patreon channel. The Patreon channel. $7 a month. Man, stats, facts, X's and O's. The breakdowns of quarterbacks, breakdowns of the running back, breakdowns of just the team members. Just breaking it down. The Tape Never Lies Network. Join today. Patreon. $7 a month. Be the best $7 of bear money you could ever spend. And I think it's time to upgrade my gear. It's time to upgrade my gear, so we'll be doing that next week. Upgrade my gear for the new year. Woo! Caleb Williams, baby. Caleb Williams. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Caleb Williams. Come on to Chicago. Make us a winner, baby. I know you can do it. Oh, yes. TTNL, the Tape Never Lies Network. Larry Burner Funkster Jones. Repping the best in the business. Just keeping it 100.